Chapter 2096. Peng Wanli and Kei Wu had both entered the Imperial Emperor realm. Although they were only early-stage Imperial Emperors, they were considered mid-tier. When the Great Elder who was patrolling the city gates saw Wu Feng, he nodded seriously. Very good. How is Ancestor Feng? Grand Elder, I don't understand what you're saying. You might have mistaken me for someone else. Wu Feng cupped his hands and bowed to the Grand Elder. Haha. I can recognize the wind origin force of the Feng family. You don't have to hide it. The 100 races of the Celestial Realm and the Wind Realm have been allies for many years. The Grand Elder smiled. Grand Elder, you've misunderstood. I'm not trying to hide anything. I know I'm from the Wind Realm, but other than my father, I don't have any interaction with the Wind Realm. There are many reasons. Wu Feng explained. No interaction? It seems there are some things. Don't worry, come find me later. I know one of your ancestors, and we have a good relationship. I'll see if I can help you solve some problems. The Grand Elder nodded to Wu Feng and left. He just walked around Tianhuang City. It was a habit. Wu Feng, your family might be from another realm, an ally of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm, Lin Piaomiao said. She knew about the Wind Realm and came to this conclusion from the Grand Elder's words. In the past, I had cold poison in my body, so some things weren't obvious. After Night Sorrow dealt with the cold poison, there was a strange energy in my body. I don't know what it is, but it should be the wind origin force that the Grand Elder talked about. Wu Feng nodded. Sister Xian, Wu Feng and I sneaked into the 9 Yin clan's base once, but we found that everything had changed. That area was different from before. Even the drowning pond that left a deep impression in Wu Feng's mind was gone. Zhang Ning explained some details. She and Wu Feng investigated carefully, but they couldn't find any clues. In the end, the clairvoyant divined that some time ago, the energy in the 9 Yin clan's territory changed, and everything disappeared. Looks like things aren't as simple as they seem. Later on, I'll check the records and see if there are any clues. Lin Piaomiao nodded at Wu Feng. Sister Xian, the Grand Elder sent Wu Feng over. Let's ask the Grand Elder. The Grand Elder should know about the Celestial Realm, Zhang Ning said. In the evening, Lin Piaomiao brought Wu Feng and Zhang Ning to see the Grand Elder and told him about Wu Feng's situation. The Wind Realm and the 9 Yin clan are forces that ordinary people don't know about. They're both foreign worlds. The difference for the Celestial Realm is that one is an ally, while the other is an enemy. The Wind Realm is an ally of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm. They're willing to fight with us against the demon wings of Heaven Wasteland. The 9 Yin world is different. They're not willing. They want to take advantage of the situation. When the City Lord gave them a choice, their main force in the Celestial Realm, the 9 Yin clan, chose to run away and left the Celestial Realm, the Grand Elder said. Grand Elder, with Wu Feng's cultivation, he can't return to his family. As for the 9 Yin clan, I don't want to talk about the grudge between us anymore. However, my father was beaten into the drowning pond. As a son, there are some things I must do, Wu Feng said. You're right. Later, I'll contact the Wind Realm. The Feng family doesn't have many people. They'll be happy to know of your existence. The Grand Elder nodded at Wu Feng. Lin Piaomiao brought Wu Feng and Zhang Ning out of the Grand Elder's small world. Wu Feng, things are clear now. However, you have to know that if the 9 Yin clan fights against the 100 races of the Celestial Realm, you'll have to make a choice, Lin Piaomiao said. Don't worry, Battle Emperor. I know what's right and wrong. Wu Feng nodded. It's been so many years. You still don't want to change the way you address me. Suit yourself. Lin Piaomiao shook her head. When Wu Feng and Zhang Ning got married, Lin Piaomiao told Wu Feng that she and Zhang Ning were sisters. He could call her sister in the future, but Wu Feng still called her Battle Emperor. Sister Xian, my mighty brother-in-law has been staying on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge all this time? Doesn't he know to come back and rest? He's still a little slow. Tsang Ning looked at Night Sorrow's figure on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. Don't make up stories. Be careful that Night Sorrow's brothers don't strangle you. He's cultivating now. Lin Piaomiao smiled. She was happy that Tsang Ning was by her side. Other than the Yi clan, Tsang Ning was her only relative. Where's Xiaokei? That little guy used to pay his respects to me. Now, he's gone. Tsang Ning said. Lin Piaomiao's child was her most important relative. He's in the 9-domain world. He's cultivating in Night Sorrow's old cultivation area. Lin Piaomiao said. Tsang Ning was stunned for a moment before he asked, Are you sure you're not mistaken, Sister Xian? His cultivation base has risen too quickly. Although his bloodline and talent are good, it's not a good thing for his cultivation base to rise too quickly. What Yi Shang and I think is that he needs to suppress it and stabilize his cultivation base. Lin Piaomiao shook her head. On the Nirvana Ocean Bridge, Night Sorrow's original body was sitting at the top of the clear sky pagoda. He was cultivating his own force in the time acceleration. Actually, this force was also called Tao. Why was Mo Tianji's original body so powerful and hard to damage? Because her cultivation level was high and her body was filled with Tao. ZT, forever. Forever. Exempt. O Fei looks at little E says for the signature of an Emperor Realm cultivator was the domain. The signature of an Emperor Realm cultivator was the Tao domain. It was a domain that merged with one's own Tao. Night Sorrow's current cultivation was in two directions. One was the reincarnation Tao domain, and the other was the primordial Tao domain. Everything was going smoothly. However, Night Sorrow knew that it wasn't that easy to raise his cultivation level. Even if he felt it, even if there was no bottleneck, he still needed time to reach the second Emperor Realm. The heavenly Tao determined that there would only be one Emperor Tribulation every 100 billion years. This showed how difficult it was for an Emperor Tribulation cultivator to raise his cultivation level. Night Sorrow's clone, Lin Xuan, and Long Jin stayed in the area isolated from the Nirvana storm by the Array Formation. They were drinking wine. Because of the Nirvana storm, only emperors could survive on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. Night Sorrow and the others decided to block the Demon-Winged clan. In order to be more comfortable, Night Sorrow set up an Array Formation to isolate the Nirvana storm. This way, the three of them would be more comfortable. Actually, it wasn't just the three of them. After the Array Formation was set up, they stayed behind a little. The Grand Elder and Lu Qi's clone, who were worried about Night Sorrow, also entered the Array Formation. The Grand Elder told Night Sorrow about Wufeng's arrival and what happened to him. Big Brother Wufeng no longer has any feelings for the 9-Yin clan. Even a vicious tiger would not eat its own cubs. When Wufeng's mother attacked, she destroyed the most precious mother-son relationship in the world, Yi Shan whispered. He felt sorrow for Wufeng. Chapter 2097. So you're saying that the Wind Realm will help Brother Wufeng? Night Sorrow asked. The Wind Realm's Feng family doesn't have many people. In fact, they're pitifully few. There might not even be 20 true core members, but these 20 people are all experts because they have the wind origin power bestowed upon them by the heavenly Tao. Wufeng has the wind origin power, which is the mark of a core member of the Wind Realm's Feng family. If he's a core member, then his father is naturally one too. The 9-Yin tribe tricked their core member, so how can this matter be resolved so easily? Whose child isn't a child, the Grand Elder said. Then what's the situation with the 9-Yin tribe? Are they also very powerful? Lin Xuan asked. The 9-Yin tribe in the Celestial Realm used to be a gateway to the Celestial Realm. It's a gateway for the members of the 9-Yin tribe to train and understand the Celestial Realm. You can't use the 9-Yin tribe to measure the strength of the 9-Yin tribe, the Grand Elder explained. This kind of extraterrestrial force is very difficult to deal with. Night Sorrow shook his head. In a war, the ones who decide the outcome are the top cultivators. Right now, only the Celestial Realm's 100 Races Alliance and the Devil Wing race of Wasteland have top cultivators. Even if extraterrestrial forces like the Nine tribe are strong, they don't have a backbone, so they have to rely on them, the Grand Elder said with a smile. Then why don't they rely on the Celestial Realm's 100 Races Alliance? Why do they have to go against us and become the Devil Wing Race's lackeys? I'm really puzzled, Long Jean muttered. Then the Grand Elder gave an answer. All along, the Celestial Realm had been ruled by the 100 Races Alliance. Some extraterrestrial forces couldn't obtain much benefits from negotiating with the Celestial Realm's 100 races. However, they could negotiate with the Devil Wing race of Wasteland. The Devil Wing race was able to make promises in the midst of benefits that didn't belong to them. This was the fundamental difference. Some of the outer realms with great wolf-like natures were willing to fight alongside the Devil-Winged clan in order to obtain greater benefits. After listening to the Grand Elder's answer, Night Sorrow's trio understood that this was a choice. It was a choice between risk and benefit. The Celestial Realm is the world of the 100 Races Alliance. It's not that other forces can't develop, but they can't do it without a bottom line. If you insist on giving them a large portion of the territory, and then we can't ask about it, that in itself is a hidden danger. That's why we aren't willing. In the future, it will be even more impossible for them to become nobles in the 9 domains world. Lu Qi said. It's like if someone comes to our house and insists on giving them a living room or a bedroom. If their table manners are too unsightly, we'll start fighting, Long Jean said. I like your aura the most. Cultivators should be like this. If you're not convinced, then fight. Fight until you're convinced. The 100 Races Alliance of the Celestial Realm is determined to do so, Lu Qi said. Night Sorrow, there's still an era left. Many things will happen in this era, but one thing is of the utmost importance, and that is the safety of the 9 domains world. After this cycle ends, the deserted world will be destroyed, and the Celestial Realm will become a sub-supreme world. At that time, the 9 domains world will be the core of the human race and the 100 Races Alliance. If you don't object, we should do some appropriate migration, because the cultivation conditions in the Celestial Realm will be much worse, the Grand Elder said. Hearing the Grand Elder's words, Night Sorrow fell into deep thought. This was a huge problem, one that concerned the future of the 9 domains world. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow looked up at the Grand Elder. Grand Elder, since we're on this topic, there are some things I have to say first, because I have some concerns. Okay, go ahead. The Grand Elder nodded. The 9 domains world used to be very stable because I wanted to fight for the world. I wanted to fight, so the 9 domains world suffered a lot that shouldn't have. There were even outsiders. I have to be responsible for the 9 domains world. In the future, migration is possible, but first they have to abide by the rules of the 9 domains world. Also, those with higher cultivation than me can't enter. Even if you think I'm selfish, I can't do anything about it. Night Sorrow said. He didn't think it was appropriate to talk like this, but for the native creatures of the 9 domains world, Night Sorrow had to say it. Haha. Don't worry, you have the final say. No one will use force against you, and no one has the qualifications to do so. Also, there will be people who think you're selfish, but that's from a narrow point of view. People who look at the bigger picture will understand that this is the most effective way to control the stability of the 9 domains world. I hope that the future sovereign world will be stable, and all unstable factors must be eliminated. The Grand Elder said with a smile. You're the Realm Lord, and those with lower cultivation than you can't cause any waves in the 9 domains world. Therefore, we won't allow those with higher cultivation than you to enter. This is the most effective way to control the stability of the 9 domains world. We will all support your decision. Of course, you have to cultivate quickly. Otherwise, when will we be able to enter? Lu Qi said with a smile. 7th Elder, there are some things you don't understand. Night Sorrow shook his head. You're still talking about me. Tell me what I don't understand. Lu Qi smiled and looked at Night Sorrow. These things will come to a conclusion after an epoch. At that time, I'll still be alive. That means I'll have passed the God-destroying tribulation. After passing the God-destroying tribulation, who will I be afraid of? Whoever wants to enter can enter. On the other hand, I can't care about what happens after an epoch. My family still needs 7th Elder and Grand Elder to look after. Night Sorrow said. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, everyone fell silent. Lu Qi had indeed forgotten this point. Night Sorrow only had one epoch's time. You're all silent? You don't believe me. Night Sorrow said. We believe you. The Grand Elder and Lu Qi looked at Night Sorrow and nodded. I also believe in myself. Night Sorrow smiled. Night Sorrow, don't laugh. I'm not being perfunctory. I really believe in you. You're different from the masters who have been born in countless reincarnations. You're fundamentally different. Let me tell you the reasons why I believe in you. First, in the past celestial realm, it was very difficult for taboo attributes to appear. Even if it did, it was only a single attribute. No one was like you, having 2 taboo attributes at the same time. Second, in the past, there were no cultivators who had achieved success in both physical and spiritual cultivation. Even if there were, it had nothing to do with taboo attributes and the body of merit. Third, and most important, you belong to the new supreme world. You're the first human sovereign of the new supreme world. You have the luck of the rising sun in your body. At the same time, you've also gained the recognition of the origin of the celestial realm. You've risen with the luck of 2 supreme worlds. This is unstoppable. Tell me, do I have a reason to believe in you? The Grand Elder said. He was cheering for Night Sorrow and giving Night Sorrow more reasons to believe in himself. Forever you free L. Look at little K say 7Y. Chapter 2098. It seems like there are still many reasons for me to believe in myself. Then I'll just have to work hard. Night Sorrow smiled and nodded. He knew that the Grand Elder and the 7 clan elders were saying these words to support and encourage him. Also, I would like to correct your point of view. Don't think that you brought anything bad to the 9-domain world. Without you, there wouldn't be the 9-domain world today. You didn't do anything wrong to anyone, nor do you owe anyone anything. Is the 9-domain world not good now? You brought them a brand new world. The other 9 domain worlds will be promoted to the Supreme Domain world and merge with the cultivators of the 100 races. Don't tell me that they don't work hard and live in mediocrity, looking up to giants, the Grand Elder said. Thank you, Grand Elder, for clearing my doubts. Night Sorrow understands. Night Sorrow nodded. As a person, you will never be able to satisfy everyone's wishes and needs. It's enough to satisfy the majority. There's nothing perfect in this world. Don't give yourself more burdens. We feel uncomfortable just looking at you. Lu Qi said. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that the Grand Elder and Lu Qi had experienced many things and were wise. Mo Zhantian didn't bring anyone over, but he didn't leave either. He found a stronghold in the Tianhuang Mountains and stationed his people there. Normally, he wouldn't do this because he would be easily attacked. However, he dared to do so now because the celestial realm wouldn't easily start a war. Without a war, Night Sorrow cultivated in peace. His doppelganger still focused on cultivating the limitless spear arts. He wanted to increase his proficiency in the limitless spear arts. Night Sorrow's main body would get up every once in a while to cultivate the limitless spear arts, drawing the limitless energy into his body. While cultivating the precept domain, he also tried to increase the limitless attribute of the heavenly Tao. 2 months later, the demon-winged clan came again under Mo Zhantian's lead. However, there were still no Emperor Tribulation cultivators. You're here to die again. Life and death, life and death. Can't you tell? Lin Chuan stood up and sighed. At that moment, Night Sorrow, who was wielding the blood-Kirin evil-slaying spear, trembled. At the same time, his main body, which was cultivating the limitless attribute, was also shaken. The limitless attribute that he cultivated lacked a sense of continuity. Life and death itself was a cycle, a process that repeated itself over and over again. It was the process of reincarnation between life and death. Enlightenment. A moment was enough. Night Sorrow's main body's understanding of the limitless attributes power of heaven and earth increased by a fraction. This fraction was like a needle that directly pierced through the bottleneck of Night Sorrow's limitless attribute. Next, Night Sorrow's aura changed. His aura spread out a few times before returning to his body. While Lin Chuan's true self stabilized his realm, Night Sorrow's avatar laughed. Lin Chuan, thank you. Your words enlightened me. You and Long Jin should hurry up and deal with them, then drink to celebrate. Grand Commander, what's going on? Your aura hasn't changed, and you haven't broken through. Lin Chuan didn't take Mo Zhantian and the devil-winged clan's people seriously. He was still conversing with Night Sorrow. My realm hasn't broken through, but the effect of your words is more useful than breaking through a few realms. I'll tell you later. Night Sorrow was extremely happy. The bottleneck of the limitless attribute was too difficult to break through. In the past few days, he didn't have a clue at all. He even doubted if he could break through. Now, this puzzle was solved. To Night Sorrow, the breakthrough of the limitless attribute was an increase in the level and quality of his taboo attribute, breaking through from intermediate to advanced. After hearing Yi Shang's words, the great elder understood. He knew that Yi Shang's situation was even more important than breaking through to the next realm, and that was to raise the level of his forbidden attribute. Come. Our Grand Commander is in a good mood today, so I'll kill a few cats and dogs to liven things up. Lin Chuan held the battle blade in his right hand and hooked his pinky finger at Mo Zhantian and the others. Too cheap, but I like it. Long Jin smiled at Lin Chuan. The battle started, and Lin Chuan showed his prowess again. Even if he understood him, it was useless. Knowing and being able to break through were two different things. After killing a devil-winged clan's Emperor Tribulation cultivator, Lin Chuan retreated when another devil-winged clan member rushed out. I'm not afraid of you. Our Grand Commander said that we'll only deal with you in the morning. If you have the ability, don't be a coward. I'll deal with you in the afternoon. Lin Chuan kept his battle blade and took a few steps back with a cheap smile on his face. The devil-winged clan's Emperor Tribulation cultivator was so angry that his eyes were burning. However, Lin Chuan didn't care about him anymore. If he doesn't want to play, I'll play with you. But it's still a battle. Who wants to die first? Choose first. Long Jin waved his wave blade and hooked his pinky finger like Lin Chuan. There was no suspense in the battle. The half-dragon Long Jin brandished the tsunami saber, sending out endless saber moves, directly killing his opponent. Friends, the battle in the morning is over. Lin Chuan, go carve your name on the battle plate. Long Jin waved his wave blade and shouted at Lin Chuan. All right. Lin Chuan responded and began to carve the words. Did you see that? Killing the enemy while talking and laughing. You have to learn something. Emperor Tang arrived at the city gate and said to the cultivators of Heaven Wasteland City who were watching. They're too strong. It would be great if we could join the Samsara Island, a captain of the Heaven Wasteland Army said. Don't find excuses for your lack of effort and failure. The Heaven Wasteland Army of Samsara Island has the same starting point as you. It's just that they work harder. Xiao Jun glared at the captain of the Heaven Wasteland Army. Original T, Chapter U, Part 1 Inch Law Enforcing Elder Xiao, the Samsara Island has joint attacks and someone to teach them. We can't do that. The captain of the Heaven Wasteland Army retorted in a low voice. That's the truth. Let's talk about it later. Those secret techniques belong to the commander of the Samsara Island. Xiao Jun agreed with the captain of the Heaven Wasteland Army. It's different in terms of resources. Night Sorrow and the others can accumulate resources. Other than the Saint Spirit Stones obtained from the Samsara Island, the Samsara Island also has the Saint Spirit Stones provided by him. Now, the members of the Demon Wing clan don't wear storage rings when they fight. However, they were robbed of many resources some time ago. Night Sorrow isn't stingy, so the cultivation resources of the Samsara island are saturated, Emperor Tang said. What does this mean? It means that they are ruthless and can eat meat. Those who are not ruthless and incapable can't even drink soup, Xiao Jun said. At this moment, on the city gate of Heaven Wasteland City, Lin Piaomiao was explaining the key points of the two battles to Xiao Gu. Xiao Gu, watch carefully. You'll be fighting later. Right now, we're lacking an invincible emperor, Lin Chuan said. I understand. I'll fight later. If you guys can do it, there's no reason why I can't. Xiao Gu nodded and was filled with fighting spirit. Chapter 2099. Mo Zhantian was truly angry. He could endure it if he couldn't deal with Night Sorrow. However, the Emperor Tribulation and Emperor Realm experts kept sending themselves to their deaths. Not to mention the losses, it was very embarrassing. The members of the devil-winged race were very angry. They couldn't fight, so their auras were suppressed. On the other hand, Night Sorrow and the others were in high spirits. The main reason was that Night Sorrow was very happy because he had made great progress in his cultivation. Don't be a coward. Come out and fight if you have the ability, a devil-winged race's Emperor Tribulation cultivator roared at Night Sorrow and the others. What are you shouting for? What are you shouting for? Don't bare your fangs and brandish your claws. I've always been here. Where are your people? Come and fight. Night Sorrow snorted at the devil-winged race's shouts. Night Sorrow's words silenced the devil-winged race's shouts. He had hit them where it hurt. None of the Emperor Tribulation cultivators in the devil-winged race's camp could challenge Night Sorrow. Even Mo Zhantian admitted this point. They couldn't avoid it even if they wanted to. Why aren't you shouting? Can't you shout? F***ck, all of you shut up. Lin Chuan pointed at the devil-winged race's camp. Seeing Lin Chuan's gesture, the devil-winged race's members all unsheathed their battle blades. However, they were stopped by Mo Zhantian. If a group battle broke out, none of them would be able to return. At this moment, a loud roar came from the Tianhuang city's gate tower. This is so satisfying. Brother-in-law is so domineering. Sung Ning said excitedly. Comfortable. This is how wars should be fought. This is how problems can be solved in comfort. Heavenly Astral Monarch, who was also watching from the city gate tower, said to the Grand Elder who was walking over. Strange. Normally, the devil-winged race wouldn't do this. Could it be that they have a backup plan? The Grand Elder found a seat on the city gate tower and sat down. That shouldn't be the case. Currently, they can't break through the situation. Night Sorrow is their obstacle, Huang Ling said. The Grand Elder nodded. They don't want Night Sorrow to fight. Actually, I don't want that either. If Night Sorrow can rise steadily, there's no need to fight like this. It's too much of a risk. During the first battle, the opponent used a self-destruct tactic. That means that they want to take down Night Sorrow at all costs. They know how important Night Sorrow is. The Heavenly Astral King and Huang Ling nodded. In the past, they did not understand Night Sorrow's situation. Now that they understood, they naturally understood the importance of Night Sorrow to the celestial realm. Right now, our morale is high. If we can fight, we'll persevere. If we can't and there's danger, we'll let those brats come back. We've profited. We can retreat at any time. Whether we fight or retreat, it's up to us, the Golden Dragon King, who had been sitting on the city gate tower, said. In the evening, there were 2 more battles. However, these 2 battles were very difficult. Lin Chuan and Long Jin were both injured. The 2 devil-winged race members were extremely strong. Lin Chuan and Long Jin had won a Pyrrhic victory. Lin Chuan had been seriously injured by the other party's self-destruction. Long Jin's opponent was the same. He was good at soul attacks. When the soul attack affected Long Jin, he also self-destructed, making Long Jin dizzy. Long Jin's left arm was blown away. It was later picked up and reattached, but the injury was very serious. Listen up. We won't play tomorrow's challenges at other levels. Let's rest for a few days. I, Night Sorrow, will stand here. If you want to fight, I'll accompany you. Glancing at Lin Chuan and Long Jin, Night Sorrow told the devil-winged race about tomorrow's situation. As timid as a mouse. Mo Lu of the devil-winged race scolded. Mo Lu had just passed by, and he had sent a group of combatants. Shut up. If you're not as timid as a mouse, then what about your first Emperor Tribulation cultivators? I'll also accept the second Emperor Tribulation cultivators. Do you dare to play? If you don't dare to play, then don't waste time. Night Sorrow replied. He felt that the devil-winged race was very shameless. There were some things that both sides didn't want to talk about, but they just had to take advantage of the situation. Mo Zhantian left with the devil-winged race. Lin Chuan and Long Jin didn't want to play, and Night Sorrow couldn't take them down. So, they could only retreat. After the devil-winged race left, Night Sorrow's energy burst out and wrapped Lin Chuan and Long Jin up, returning to the top of the city gate of Tianhuang City. From tomorrow onwards, the two of you won't fight. Night Sorrow said to Lin Chuan and Long Jin. Leader, we're injured, but we can still fight after we recover. Long Jin said. Lin Chuan was also very anxious. Can't you see that the last two people they sent out are problematic? They've been specially strengthened and are very effective against you. If you continue to fight, you won't have a good time. Execute the order. Night Sorrow glared at Lin Chuan and Long Jin. Lin Chuan and Long Jin didn't say anything. They wanted to fight, but they had to execute Night Sorrow's order. Lin Chuan, Long Jin, you have to listen to Night Sorrow. In terms of strength and eyesight, you're much weaker than Night Sorrow. The last two people they sent out have been specially strengthened to counter you. Their purpose is to fight the two of you. The Grand Elder said. Then, Xiao Gu stood out and expressed his intention to fight. Night Sorrow looked at Lin Piaomiao because he didn't know Xiao Gu's current strength. Noticing Night Sorrow's gaze, Lin Piaomiao nodded. Currently, Xiao Gu was an expert in the Imperial Emperor realm. Okay. Then Xiao Gu, come with me. We'll play with them for a while and let them know that no matter what level they're at, the 100 races of the Celestial Realm can do it. Night Sorrow didn't reject Xiao Gu's request to fight. He trusted Xiao Gu because he had a good foundation. After arranging things, Night Sorrow didn't leave immediately. He stood on top of the city gate and chatted with everyone. Night Sorrow confirmed that the Golden Dragon King's clone wasn't on Reincarnation Island. He didn't want Reincarnation Island to be destroyed after he left. The Golden Dragon King gave him an affirmative answer. Then, Night Sorrow asked about Mo Tianji's situation. Oh. Hearing Night Sorrow's question, the Grand Elder and Lin Piaomiao shook their heads because there was no news yet. Captain, you can release my soul seal later. I can sense where she is, Jun Xuanji, who was with the members of the god-slaying team, said. No, Xuanji, your soul can't be affected. You should cultivate first. When your soul is truly stable, you can release your soul seal and fight with Mo Tianji. That's the safest way. The Grand Elder shook his head and refused. That's right. She's stronger than you, so her soul can affect you. When your level is high enough, you'll be able to affect her, the Golden Dragon King said. It's not that complicated. Mo Tianji cultivates the Heartless Tao, but I don't. I can find someone I like and marry. What can she do to me? At that time, I'll be the one affecting her. We don't know who's stronger, Jun Xuanji said. Then what are you waiting for? Hurry up and find someone to marry, Tianyu said. Chapter 2100. Tianyu was stunned. He didn't understand why Jun Xuanji was so angry. However, they were brothers and sisters who had fought together. Even if Jun Xuanji scolded him, he couldn't scold him back or say anything. There was an awkward silence. No one understood what was going on. Jun Xuanji took a deep breath and looked at Tianyu. Tianyu, thank you for going easy on me. I couldn't control my anger just now. I'm sorry. What are you saying? If you were in a bad mood, everyone would have gone easy on you. Tianyu shook his head. He didn't care about this at all. There was no such thing as losing face between brothers and sisters. Generous. It's my fortune to be brothers and sisters with all of you. Unlike some people, Jun Xuanji snorted as he patted Tianyu's shoulder. That one sentence and snort conveyed a lot of information. Datura and Lin Piaomiao looked at each other before turning their heads to the side. Only the Grand Elder and the 7 sect elders are on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. It's not appropriate. Everyone, continue chatting. Xiao Gu, let's go. Night Sorrow wrapped Xiao Gu with his energy and jumped off the Nirvana city gates. Then, he flew towards the array formation that Night Sorrow had set up. Ahem. Long Jin, Lin Xuan, the two of you recuperate first. We'll celebrate later. The Grand Elder coughed dryly to resolve the awkwardness. Anyone with a discerning eye could see that something was wrong. However, they couldn't say anything unless they were involved. When they reached the array formation, Night Sorrow put Xiao Gu down and wiped his forehead. There's no need to think. This matter has something to do with you, the Grand Elder's clone said. This. I don't really understand. Night Sorrow didn't know how to lie and didn't want to lie. Seeing Lu Qi's confusion, the Grand Elder told him what had happened. Lu Qi's clone was in Xingyu's city while his original body was here. Therefore, he didn't know what had happened on the Nirvana city gates. Night Sorrow, you're attracting bees. If you bring a good woman home, countless men will silently stab you in their hearts, Lu Qi said. 7th Elder, you can't blame me for this. I've been avoiding it all this time, Night Sorrow explained helplessly. Haha. I'm just joking with you. There are some things that can't be explained clearly. Back when Elder Lin followed me to familiarize herself with the position of Discipline Elder, she was wavering between the path of emotions and the path of heartlessness. If you were that kind of person, then success would follow naturally. Would she need to waver? Therefore, I know what kind of person you are. However, this is also a sin. Lu Qi shook his head. The Grand Elder and Lu Qi didn't try to persuade him any further because Night Sorrow wasn't a child. He had a family and children, so he had his own judgment on certain matters. Oh right, let me confirm. Did your limitless attribute advance? He could not ask in front of others, but now that there were no outsiders, he naturally had to confirm. When I heard Lin Xuan's words, I was somewhat moved and advanced. Now, my reincarnation and primordial attributes are both at the advanced level. Night Sorrow nodded. The Grand Elder paced back and forth twice. Night Sorrow, let's go back. We're not fighting anymore. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation, Grand Elder, why would you suddenly have such a thought? Night Sorrow looked at the Grand Elder in surprise. Because you are destined to rise. Now is not the time to take on such risks. The Grand Elder gave the reason. Night Sorrow smiled. Grand Elder, don't you understand? Resistance is my path. In the past 1,000 years, other than the period when I was unconscious, I was fighting. Comfort is not my path. If you don't let a bird fly, it might forget how to fly after a long time. Grand Elder, Night Sorrow is right. Comfort is mediocrity. The strong cannot look up to others in mediocrity. Lu Qi supported Night Sorrow's decision. Looking at Night Sorrow, the Grand Elder nodded. He was worried, not that he did not understand. Then, Night Sorrow asked about King Yewu's situation. He was very concerned about King Yewu. You don't have to worry about that. He is in seclusion. In the past, Mo Zhantian was not King Yewu's opponent. This time, Mo Zhantian suddenly became stronger because he took the final step. His original body and doppelganger's souls merged. King Yawu has not taken this step yet, so he is in seclusion. Once he passes this step, it will be easy to suppress him. Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian both have one doppelganger, while King Yawu has two doppelganger. After the original body and doppelganger merge, it is obvious who is stronger. The Grand Elder explained King Yawu's situation. Then I am relieved. Night Sorrow nodded. It is just a matter of time. It may be long or short. The Grand Elder smiled. He knew that Night Sorrow was a kind person who respected his elders. This was also a kind of virtue. Mo Zhantian did not bring anyone to battle because he could not win the battle. Lin Xuan and Long Jin were not going to battle. He wanted to win once, but he could not even replenish his aura. Mo Lu, are they not here yet? Mo Zhantian asked. They will be here soon. The Outer Realm has sent Emperor Tribulation cultivators and Emperor Tribulation cultivators on the way. Our 100 Kings tribe's geniuses are also coming out of seclusion. Mo Lu bowed. Mo Zhantian nodded. He was a little anxious because the situation had to be changed. With more reinforcements coming, he felt more at ease. However, he knew that since the reinforcements were here, they had to be strengthened specifically to deal with Night Sorrow and the other two. Thinking of this, Mo Zhantian was furious. He could think of ways to deal with Lin Xuan and Long Jin. He could train his subordinates to deal with them, but he could not do anything about Night Sorrow. In the battle with Night Sorrow, many Emperor Tribulation cultivators from the Demon Wings tribe had died. However, they still could not find out where Night Sorrow's weakness was. In other words, even with his soul unification realm cultivation base, he could not guide his elites to deal with Night Sorrow. After thinking for a while, Mo Zhantian could not come up with a good plan. He could only wait and see. As for the elites of the Demon Wings tribe, Mo Zhantian did not see them and did not know how strong they were. Two special cultivators came to Tianhuang City. They were brought by the Grand Elder. Both of them were wearing green robes with golden edges. They were here to look for Wufeng. They were from the Feng family of the Wind Realm. When he saw Wufeng, the elder's eyes lit up. Grand Elder. That's right. They are from our Feng family. Wufeng, they are from the Feng family of the Wind Realm. The Grand Elder said to Wufeng. Why are you called Wufeng? You are from the Feng family. How can you be called by this name? The middle-aged man was dissatisfied. It's not the wind attribute. It's the Feng from the edge. My father doesn't want me to reveal my edge and bring about a fatal disaster. Wufeng explained. Our Feng family's child can't reveal his edge. Ah! The middle-aged man roared in anger. Yun Shao, calm down. The elder patted the middle-aged man's shoulder. Chapter 2101. Let's find a place to talk, the Grand Elder said. He knew that there were still many details to be discussed. The elder nodded. He had many things to ask Wufeng. When Wufeng brought Song Ning and the Grand Elder out of Nirvana City's gate, Feng Yunxiao turned to look at Song Ning, an energy storm spinning in his eyes. This is my wife, Song Ning, Edgeless explained. Wife, very good. The energy storm in Feng Yunxiao's eyes disappeared and was replaced by calmness. When they arrived at the Grand Elder's small space world, Wufeng explained his situation. He didn't reject returning to his family because it wasn't his family that had abandoned him and his father. Second Master, the timeline matches. It should be during that great battle. My brother was injured and his soul had a problem. After that, he never returned to the family. Instead, he went to the 9 Yin tribe's territory. Feng Yunxiao looked at the elder man after hearing Wufeng's story. Wufeng is from the Feng family, that's for sure. However, there are many problems. Your brother is from the Feng family of the Wind Realm and has wind origin energy. The 9 Yin tribe should recognize him. Could it be that he didn't have wind origin energy when he arrived? Wufeng, do you remember your father's situation? The elder of the Feng family, Feng Yuexin, asked Wufeng. Wu Feng thought for a moment and said, "Nothing special." Most of the time, he wasn't awake. The time he was awake was very short, and he didn't have wind origin energy. Your father didn't have wind origin energy when he arrived at the 9 tribe's territory. Our Feng family doesn't have many members, and your father is the only missing member. Therefore, your background can't be wrong. According to seniority, you are my granduncle, and he is your uncle. When our wind realm fought against the sea serpent tribe, your father was injured and was swept into a space-time storm. His whereabouts were unknown. The family found a diviner to divine his whereabouts, but there was no result. The 9 tribe's territory should have a method to avoid divination, Feng Yuexin said. The Grand Elder told us about the disappearance of the 9 tribe. According to his deduction, their territory should have something like a spatial treasure. However, you don't have to worry. We won't let your father go. The 9 tribe doesn't have the right to be arrogant in front of our Feng family. We can afford it, but we can't let go of the grievances you've suffered. Fortunately, you've settled down and started a family. Uncle is very pleased about this, Feng Yunxiao said. Thank you, Uncle. Wu Feng bowed to Feng Yunxiao. You don't have to be so courteous with your uncle. You must know that you have a family. No one can bully our Feng family, Feng Yunxiao said. Wu Feng, this time, your uncle and I are here mainly for you. Other than that, we have to contribute to the war between the 100 Races Alliance and the Demon-Winged Clan. We won't be leaving for the time being. We have a place to stay. Bring your wife and come with us. You've been wandering outside for many years. You have to learn about the people and matters of the Feng clan, as well as their cultivation techniques and absolute arts, Feng Yuexin said. Wu Feng understands. Wu Feng nodded. Second Master, I plan to investigate the 9 clan, Feng Yunxiao said to Feng Yuexin. So many years have passed, there's no need to rush. The 9 clan in the world of 9 is very ambitious. They will definitely take action in this war, so there's no need to specifically look for them. Once they appear, we can use a secret method to locate their nest, Feng Yuexin said. After thinking for a while, Feng Yunxiao nodded and looked at Wu Feng. Your name might not be right, but this is your father's, my elder brother's, effort. Keep it. When you have children in the future, follow the Feng family's genealogy. Thank you, Uncle. Wu Feng bowed to Feng Yunxiao. Niece-in-law, I wonder how your wedding went. Once this is over and we return to the Wind World, I'll have Wu Feng hold a proper wedding for you, Feng Yunxiao said to Tsang Ning. You're too polite, Uncle. The wedding is just a formality. Living a good life is the most important. Also, our wedding was pretty good, Tsang Ning said. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation V. Knight's Sorrow learned from the Grand Elder's clone that the people from the Wu Feng family had come and that Wu Feng had returned to his family. He was happy for Wu Feng because he had experienced the feeling of not having a family and roots. He had also experienced the feeling of searching for a family and relatives. The 9 family has made a big mess. If it was an ordinary matter, it might be able to pass. But this time, not only did Wu Feng and his son suffer humiliation, they also drowned Wu Feng's father. The Feng family will definitely not let this matter rest. The Feng family of the Wind World is not to be trifled with. They are extremely united and protective, the Grand Elder said. I shouldn't comment on other people's family matters, but the 9 family has gone too far. They have no compassion at all and trampled on human relations, Night Sorrow said. The 9 family has already confirmed that they won't stand on the same side as the 100 Races Alliance. Then, they will definitely collude with the demon-winged race of Heaven Wasteland. A war with them is inevitable, so the dispute is still to come. Night Sorrow, you have to remember that the war to come will be a war between races. As long as they oppose the Celestial Realm's 100 Races Alliance, there is no need to hold back, the Grand Elder reminded Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow cultivated. Lu Qi saw that Xiao Gu's weapon grade was average, so he asked the Grand Elder to help Xiao Gu refine a longsword. Xiao Gu and Lu Qi had a very good relationship. He cultivated Lu Qi's sword techniques and could be considered his master. It was just that there was no ceremony at the moment. While Xiao Gu was cultivating, Night Sorrow's cultivation did not stop. After breaking through the bottleneck of the peerless attribute, Night Sorrow's cultivation became much easier. His main body cultivated, while his clone cultivated in the 8 Dragon Cauldron's time acceleration. The reincarnation and primordial attributes were greatly improved from intermediate to advanced, allowing Night Sorrow's combat ability to soar. After 2 months of peace, the reinforcements of the demon-winged clan and the elites invited by Mo Zhantian arrived. They were all specially strengthened by Mo Zhantian. When he felt that it was about time, Mo Zhantian brought his people up to the Nirvana Ocean Bridge again. Now, he wanted to eliminate the obstacles in the path of the demon-winged clan's rise at all costs. When the demon-winged clan arrived, Lu Qi shook the 8 Dragon Cauldron and called out Night Sorrow, who was cultivating his combat ability, from within. Realm Lord, can Xiao Gu fight first this time? Xiao Gu asked after glancing at the demon-winged clan's emperor. Yes, but you have to remember that this is a life-and-death battle. You have to kill your opponent as quickly as possible, Night Sorrow said to Xiao Gu. After cupping his fists at Night Sorrow, the Grand Elder, and Lu Qi, Xiao Gu held his long sword and walked to the front of the stronghold. Xiao Gu of Star Moon City is here. Which emperor will fight? Where did this trash come from? Get down. This time, we are going to fight Night Sorrow. Mo Lu looked at Xiao Gu with some annoyance. He knew that Mo Zhantian had made some arrangements to deal with Night Sorrow. Chapter 2102. Mo Lu wanted to say something but was stopped by Mo Zhantian's raised arm. Battle of the Monarchs. That's fine too. Which one of you will fight? Mo Zhantian looked at Xiao Gu and threw out a sentence. He had brought monarch-level cultivators today to observe the battle. Now, they could be put to good use. Hearing Mo Zhantian's words, the monarchs of the Demon Wing clan stood out in unison. There were more than 10 of them. This was the valiance of a battle clan. They didn't know the situation but they weren't afraid of death. Xiao Gu, kill one first. Then come back for a cup of tea before we fight. Night Sorrow instructed Xiao Gu. All right. Then I'll kill one and come back for tea. Xiao Gu held his sword and moved forward again, arriving at the center of the 2 groups. You go. Mo Zhantian pointed at one of the monarchs. I'll kill you. The Demon Wing clan's monarch flew out of the Demon Wing clan's camp and flew towards Xiao Gu. The Demon Wing clan's monarch's domain burst forth as he held his saber with both hands. Saber energy pulsed as he slashed at Xiao Gu. I don't know where you get the confidence to talk big. Xiao Gu didn't move. He raised his right hand and the scabbard of his sword flew into the sky. Then, he waved his sword and 3 sword chi flew out rapidly. The 3 sword chi shot out by Xiao Gu were like 3 lightning bolts that streaked across the void. When they appeared again, they were already in front of the Demon Wing clan's domain. One of the sword chi broke through the Demon Wing clan's domain. After that, Xiao Gu's remaining 2 sword chi shot towards the Demon Wing clan's monarch through the gap. Break! The Demon Wing clan's monarch's expression changed drastically as he roared and slashed at the sword chi with his saber. With a crisp sound, the Demon Wing clan's monarch's saber was broken by the sword chi. The 3rd sword chi arrived and directly pierced through the Demon Wing clan's monarch's forehead. Kill! Xiao Gu killed the Demon Wing clan's monarch with 1 move and 3 sword chi. Soaring sword energy. I didn't expect you to be Lu Qi's disciple. Very good. Mo Zhantian narrowed his eyes as he looked at Xiao Gu who was collecting the Demon Wing clan's monarch storage ring. He Lu Qi. He knew that Xiao Gu was Lu Qi's ultimate skill. Not at the moment, but if he is willing, he can become one at any time. Lu Qi smiled. He was very satisfied with Xiao Gu's battle achievements. After collecting the Demon Wing Sovereign Emperor's storage ring, Xiao Gu returned to Night Sorrow's side. Domain Lord, Xiao Gu killed him. Clean and efficient, very good. Knight Sorrow patted Xiao Gu's shoulder. The battle between the Imperial Emperors is over. It's Knight Sorrow's turn. Do you have the guts to fight? A first Emperor Tribulation cultivator walked out from the Demon Wing clan's camp. He was the first sovereign Tribulation cultivator invited by the Demon Wing clan, Han Qin-yun. He had also received pointers from Mo Zhantian. I didn't want to fight, but since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Come. Knight Sorrow raised his blood-Qilin evil punishing spear and walked between the two groups. Die. Han Qin-yun's body flashed as he waved his spear and flew towards Knight Sorrow. As he flew, a white spear light appeared on his spear. The spear light became more and more solid. At the same time, he also launched a soul attack. The white soul power condensed into rings and flew towards Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow stood still. However, he used his soul power to activate the Green Lotus Jade Bangle. An emerald green halo rippled in all directions, blocking Han Qin-yun's soul attack outside the domain. By the time Han Qin-yun arrived in front of Yishang, Yishang had finished releasing his spacetime Dao domain and slowed Han Qin-yun down. Die. Han Qin-yun's speed slowed down, but the energy in his spear was ready. He stabbed his spear towards Knight Sorrow. Original 5 songs H/D Spacetime Realm. Knight Sorrow used the spacetime realm and disappeared from the celestial realm. He went to a different space, causing Han Qin-yun's attack to miss. After dodging Han Qin-yun's attack, Knight Sorrow's body flashed and appeared in the celestial realm again. He appeared beside Han Qin-yun and used the reincarnation domain to suppress Han Qin-yun. Within the reincarnation domain, the spacetime collapsed and the energy of life and death rotated. A destructive storm swept out. Han Qin-yun's face changed. It was difficult for him to defend against Knight Sorrow's domain. While Han Qin-yun was resisting the suppression of Yishang's domain, Yishang's blood-Qilin evil slaying spear appeared. He used a spear technique he had learned from a great elder. The spear carried the reincarnation domain as it pierced through Han Qin-yun's protective domain. It spun and poured into Han Qin-yun's forehead, shattering his divine sea. After killing Han Qin-yun, Knight Sorrow withdrew his reincarnation domain. Everything quieted down. The only difference was that Han Qin-yun had no signs of life. He hung weakly on Knight Sorrow's blood-Qilin evil slaying spear. After taking Han Qin-yun's storage ring and spear, Knight Sorrow kicked Han Qin-yun's corpse back to the camp of the Demon Wing clan. You guys have studied my battle style for more than 10 times. I thought you guys would be able to target me. In the end, you guys didn't make any progress. Don't be so arrogant. Yin Ming Lu from the realm of 9 Yin is here to fight you. A man with a cold face stepped out. 9 Yin family? When he heard the words realm of 9 Yin, Knight Sorrow's body trembled. This might be related to some of Wu Feng's grudges. Looks like you know quite a lot. Yin Ming Lu walked out of the camp of the Demon Wing clan. Be careful, Ming Lu, another man reminded him. He was the young master of the realm of 9 Yin, Yin Xiaotian. The 9 Yin family was the royal family of the realm of 9 Yin. The 9 Yin family in the celestial realm was just a gate for them. They ruled over everything in the realm of 9 Yin. After the Yin song record walked out, Knight Sorrow felt an uncomfortable aura. It was an evil aura. He had felt this aura when he was healing Wufeng. I don't care who you are. You're some bullsh** T human emperor. If you dare to block the development of the realm of 9 Yin, you must die. Yin Ming Lu looked at Knight Sorrow coldly. You insulted the human emperor. You're already a dead man. No one can save you today. The Grand Elder, who was originally sitting, stood up. Mo Zhantian didn't say anything, but he cursed in his heart. Yin Ming Lu insulted the human emperor, and the Grand Elder had a reason to kill him. It had nothing to do with the gentleman's battle. Mo Zhantian's attack was a chaotic battle. While Mo Zhantian was cursing, Yin Ming Lu had already attacked. He released the gray realm around him and attacked Night Sorrow. He saw that Night Sorrow's realm was powerful, so he didn't enter the area of suppression of Night Sorrow's realm. He attacked from a distance and used energy to attack Night Sorrow. He planned to wait for the energy of the 9 family to invade Night Sorrow's body and affect his status. Then, he would attack him in close combat. This was also the strategy that Mo Gentian had taught him. After observing more than a dozen battles, Mo Gentian realized that Night Sorrow's realm was powerful. His speed and close combat ability were also very strong. That was why he told Yin Ming Lu to attack from a distance to increase Night Sorrow's status. Only then would they have a chance to win. Yin Ming Lu knew Mo Gentian's identity, so even if he was very confident, he still followed Mo Gentian's strategy. Besides, he had seen Night Sorrow kill Han Qing Yun with his own eyes. He was already cautious. The energy of the 9 family was very strong. Night Sorrow's realm of destruction couldn't block it. His body was already corroded by the energy. Chapter 2103. It was very evil and domineering. When Night Sorrow realized how difficult it was to deal with the 9 energy, he immediately activated the virtuous immortal body and enveloped the evil energy. In fact, even if he did not do that, the 9 energy would not be able to break his body. Night Sorrow's body had entered the Emperor Tribulation realm with the spacetime energy, and he also had the strength of the Emperor Tribulation realm. In other words, even if he stood there and let the Emperor Tribulation and the Emperor Tribulation cultivate, it would be very difficult to break his defense. It should be said that before the energy in his body was exhausted, it would not break his defense. After using the energy in his body to envelop the 9 energy, Night Sorrow was not in a hurry to expel it from his body. Instead, he continued to observe Yin Song record strength, because he could understand the world of 9 through Yin Song record. The world of 9 was destined to become enemies with the 100 races of the celestial realm in the future. The battle continued. Night Sorrow moved his feet and dodged Yin Song record's continuous slashes. However, as Yin Song record continued to attack, more and more gray energy appeared in Night Sorrow's domain, and it continued to corrode Night Sorrow's body. After spinning and slashing 1,000 times at Night Sorrow, Yin Song record raised his saber in the air. You don't know what's good for you. 1,000 slashes into one, kill. As Yin Song record slashed down with his saber, the wind and clouds stirred up. The energy in the saber he had just sent out all gathered together and slashed at Night Sorrow with a whistling momentum. Powerful. Yin Song record's saber was very powerful. At that moment, Night Sorrow's aura changed. He turned into a spear that stood between heaven and earth, and then his body became illusory. Yin Song record's saber slashed at Night Sorrow's body, but there was no trace of blood. Night Sorrow used the spacetime realm and entered the alternate space. Then, he appeared in the celestial realm again. Because he was so fast, it was difficult for anyone to discover the secret behind it. Yin Song record did not understand what was going on when his saber missed. However, the battle could not stop, so his body flashed and charged at Night Sorrow. Samsara domain. Night Sorrow's body trembled as the Samsara Dao domain charged forward, charging into Yin Ming record's Dao domain and into Yin Ming record's body. The high-grade Samsara Dao domain and energy were far from what Yin Ming record could contend with. Instantly, the energy within Yin Ming record's body turned chaotic. At the critical moment, the blood-Chilan evil-slaying spear in Night Sorrow's right hand pierced through the void and directly entered Yin Cry record's head, piercing through Yin Cry record's divine sea and shattering it. Not bad, but you don't have the right to boast that you can kill me. Night Sorrow put away the saber and storage ring. He didn't succeed in killing you, but you're also crippled. The 9 energy entered your body. Even if you survive, your meridians will be destroyed, and your cultivation will be gone. Yin Xiaotian stood up. Oh. It's that serious? I didn't even notice it. Night Sorrow turned around and walked back to Tianhuang City's camp. As he waved his left arm, a gray energy appeared in the air. Then, Night Sorrow clenched his left hand, and the energy was compressed in his palm by Night's Sorrow before he threw it into a bottle. Yin Xiaotian was stunned. Yin Xiaotian was stunned for a moment. He naturally recognized that the ball of energy was the 9 Yin energy that Yin Song Record had injected into Night's Sorrow's body. You think you can trick me? You're still too naive, but I'm certain of the 9 Yin family's status in the world of 9 Yin. Night's Sorrow turned around and cast a glance at Yin Xiaotian. Damn you. I'll definitely kill you. Yin Xiaotian felt a little embarrassed after being scolded by Night's Sorrow. That's what he said just now. Night's Sorrow replied and returned to his camp. Then, he lowered his head and thought about the characteristics of the 9 Yin family's energy. He no longer paid attention to anyone else. The Imperial Tribulation cultivators from the Demon Wing clan's camp kept roaring and taunting him, but Night's Sorrow ignored them. He was in a state of cultivation. The Grand Elder waved his arm, and an energy barrier appeared, blocking the Demon Wing clan's harassment of Night's Sorrow. Night's Sorrow's main body and his clone studied the energy at the same time. He understood that the 9 Yin energy was also a combination of energy. It was the extreme Yin side of the 7 ordinary elements, and when combined with the Yin side of the death and space elements, it was the 9 Yin energy. All the elements had 2 sides. Wind had extreme Yin wind and extreme Yang wind. Fire had extreme Yin flames and extreme Yang flames. In the world of 9 Yin, the 9 Yin family combined the negative elements of the 9 elements to form the extremely evil 9 Yin energy. This was also the reason why Wufeng was still troubled by the evil Yin energy even after becoming a monarch. If it wasn't for Night's Sorrow's power of virtue, he wouldn't have been able to recover. After studying it for a while, Night's Sorrow found that it was very helpful to him, so he began to cultivate. This cultivation lasted for half a month. His main body and his clone accelerated their cultivation for half a month. During this half a month, Night's Sorrow was in a state of enlightenment. When he woke up from his state of enlightenment, he felt pretty good. The limitless attribute required a combination of hardness and gentleness, as well as the coexistence of Yin and Yang. After understanding the 9 Yin energy, Night's Sorrow's limitless attribute directly increased by 10%. His other precept domains also increased by quite a bit. Haha. Very good, this is the kind of battle I need. Who wants to fight? Let's fight again. Night's Sorrow walked out of the camp with the blood-Shielan evil-slaying spear in his right hand. At this time, the Grand Elder also withdrew the barrier. Mo Zhantian waved his hand, stopping his subordinates from accepting the challenge. He found that Night's Sorrow had advanced again. If he didn't make arrangements, sending more people would die. Domain Lord, I've killed 7 people in the past few days, Xiao Gu said from behind Night's Sorrow. Very good. If they don't fight, I'll send them back. If they want to fight but don't have the courage, they won't be able to do anything. Remember, if they're afraid today, they won't be able to straighten their backs in front of you in the future. Look carefully, they're all trash. Every single one of them is trash. Night's Sorrow turned around and pointed at the devil-winged clan members one by one. Finally, he pointed at Mo Zhantian. Brat, you dare. Mo Zhantian roared at Night's Sorrow. You think I don't dare to talk to you? Tianhuang's city is right in front of you, but you don't dare to attack. They're all trash, and you're a big piece of trash. Night's Sorrow wasn't afraid of Mo Zhantian at all. Maybe he's right. Tianhuang's city is right there. If you want to prove something, then go ahead and attack. Night's Sorrow, let's go back. The Grand Elder pulled Night's Sorrow back to the camp. He was also worried that Mo Zhantian would suddenly attack. No, maybe. He's a big piece of trash. At this time, an energy body appeared above the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. It was King Yawu. At this time, King Yawu was extremely domineering. Although he was an energy body, the energy waves on his body were constantly rippling, repelling the Nirvana storm. /3GH version Z. Looking at King Yawu's figure, Mo Zhantian's right hand loosened and tightened, wavering between fighting and not fighting. Don't suppress it. If you want to fight, you can fight anytime. Haha. Big piece of trash, that's a good name. It suits you. King Yawu laughed. Yawu, do you think you'll win for sure? Then you're wrong. Today, I won't fight you, not because I'm afraid of you, but because I'm not strong enough. Mo Zhantian suppressed his desire to fight. He really wanted to fight, but the situation didn't allow it. Chapter 2104. After Night Sorrow returned to the stronghold, he cupped his hands at King Yawu's energy clone. Greetings, Martial Uncle. Haha. Very good, very good. Martial Uncle is proud of you. The Divine Capital is proud of you. King Yawu's energy clone nodded at Night Sorrow, his eyes full of praise. Then, King Yawu's energy clone disappeared. He had come to take a look after successfully breaking through and was just in time to see this scene. Feng Yuexin and Feng Yunxiao were also at the gate of Nirvana City. This is a true expert. Feng Yuexin knew King Yawu, but the King Yawu she knew was different. Uncle, second granduncle, I'm sure that those two guys are from the world of Nine Yin. I know their aura, Wu Feng said to Feng Yuexin and Feng Yunxiao. The guy who's alive now is with Mo Zhantian. We can't do anything. Just bear with it for now. They can't run away, Feng Yuexin said. Feng Yunxiao also nodded. They were very strong, but they couldn't compare to Mo Zhantian. Some secret techniques could be detected after they used them. After Mo Zhantian left, Night Sorrow took out wine and some jerky and sat down with the Grand Elder, Lu Qi, and Xiao Gu. Xiao Gu, are you willing to be my disciple? Lu Qi thought for a while and asked Xiao Gu. Yes, disciple Xiao Gu greets master. Xiao Gu stood up and knelt on the ground after hearing Lu Qi's words. Since you're willing, then you're my second disciple. You're also my only disciple for now. Lu Qi didn't support Xiao Gu. Xiao Gu performed the ceremony of 3 bows and 9 kowtows. Under the witness of the Grand Elder and Night Sorrow, he became Lu Qi's second disciple. Lu Qi's first disciple had led a divine wasteland army to war many years ago and had died in battle. Your foundation in this life is great because of the karma of your previous life. You should have been 2 people in your previous life. However, no matter if it was your body or your soul, you were both indomitable cultivators. Therefore, you must live well in this life. Lu Qi looked at Xiao Gu and said. Those who were familiar with Xiao Gu knew about his situation. His body was the golden body of virtuous virtue, and his soul was a pure soul that was extremely compatible with his body. It was impossible for a person who did not cultivate morality to possess the golden body of merit. It was also impossible for the soul of a cultivator to fuse with the golden body of merit. Master, don't worry. In the future, I will follow the Region Lord. The Region Lord is the virtuous sovereign emperor and will not take the wrong path. Therefore, the path of this disciple will also not be wrong. Xiao Gu said. Child, this is where you're smart. That's the right way to think. Lu Qi nodded with a smile. Night Sorrow stood up and promised that he would take good care of Xiao Gu in the future. After a few drinks, Night Sorrow looked at the Grand Elder. Grand Elder, Brother Wufeng's family is here. I have to greet them. Of course. You and Wufeng are good friends. You should congratulate him when he finds his family. They actually want to see you and thank you for treating Wufeng's injuries. The Grand Elder nodded. Then let's go back. If they come, my original body will stop them. Night Sorrow said. His original body was in a state of cultivation, but it was not in a state of enlightenment. He was not afraid of being interrupted and could fight at any time. You can go back. My doppelganger will stay here and watch. I will bring you to see them in a while. The Grand Elder said. He was not at ease with Night Sorrow's original body here. He had to keep Night Sorrow's matter under his nose because he could not afford any problems. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow nodded and looked at Xiao Gu. You are not allowed to fight when I'm not around. After saying this, Night Sorrow left. Xiao Gu, your region lord is a responsible person. He is not at ease with me here. This is a good thing and also a true relationship. You have to cherish it. Lu Qi said with a smile. In Lu Qi's eyes, Xiao Gu was a child because he had seen Xiao Gu walk over from a somewhat ignorant state. When Night Sorrow returned, the Heaven Wasteland army and cultivators standing in front of the gates of Nirvana City cupped their hands in greeting and opened a path for him. This is a path that we have to walk out of here. You can stand on it and feel it. However, remember, you can only stand within 200 miles of where my original body is. After saying this, Night Sorrow's body swayed and stood on top of the city gates. Then, he cupped his hands in greeting to the Grand Elder. You're back. Let me introduce you. This is Elder Feng Yuexin of the Wind Domain and this is Protector Feng Yunxiao of the Wind Domain. They are Wufeng's family. The Grand Elder introduced them. Night Sorrow greets Elder Feng and Protector Feng. Night Sorrow cupped his hands in greeting. He could not greet others now. He was the young city lord of Heaven Wasteland City and represented Heaven Wasteland City. He was the law-enforcing patriarch of the Council of Elders of the 100 Races and represented the Council of Elders of the 100 Races. Face was very important. Feng Yuexin and Feng Yunxiao greet the human emperor. Feng Yuexin and Feng Yunxiao both bowed. They had to be respectful when greeting Night Sorrow. The human emperor was a person they had to respect. Night Sorrow took a step forward and reached out to help them up. There's no need for this. In private, the two of you are Night Sorrow's elders because Wufeng is my elder brother. We also have to thank you for helping Wufeng solve the problem of the insidious poison in his body. The Feng family should thank you, Feng Yuexin said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow did not know that Wufeng was actually very important to the Wind Domain. His father was the successor of the Wind Domain's Feng family and was the young master of the Wind Domain. After his disappearance, the young master of the Wind Domain had not been replaced. Wufeng's appearance actually meant that the Wind Domain had a successor. The Yi family did not pay attention to the seniority of the direct line of descent. However, for the sake of stability, some forces and families had strict rules. The first rule was that seniority was the first rule. The person in charge was always the eldest son or the eldest senior brother. The two of you don't have to be so polite. Wufeng is my elder brother. He once helped me when I was in danger. Night Sorrow has always remembered this in my heart. Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow, we brothers don't have to say these things. I have never been polite with you. I don't feel alienated just because you are the human emperor. Wufeng stood out and said. After that, Night Sorrow was invited to the Wind Domain's residence in Tianhuang City by Feng Yuexin. She even set up a banquet for Night Sorrow. Although the Wind Domain's people were not often in Tianhuang City, the size of the residence was not small. There were also a few servants. And while drinking and chatting, Feng Yuexin and Feng Yunxiao once again expressed their gratitude to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow, that Yin Xiaotian is the guy who harmed my father. I remember clearly. Normally, he is my uncle. Wufeng said softly. Elder brother, I will remember this. If he dares to fight, I will definitely take his head back. Night Sorrow said. Chapter 2105. The Power of 10 Yin. I'll be careful. I also want to see the power of this attribute. It'll be good for my cultivation, Night Sorrow said. But you must be careful. Wufeng didn't say anything else. He knew that Night Sorrow knew that he wouldn't be taken advantage of. After staying in the Wind Realm's mansion for a while, Yi Shang left and returned to his mansion to gather with his family. Yi Xiaokei also ended his cultivation at the bamboo forest peak. The Medicine Valley had completely changed. He didn't want to stay in the Medicine Valley anymore, so he went to Tianhuang City. Yi Shao's departure filled Gong Xian's heart with guilt. He knew that if the Medicine Valley didn't disappoint him, it wouldn't be so awkward now, and Yi Xiaokei wouldn't have left. The other people at the Taishan Peak were also angry. Some people in the Medicine Valley didn't have self-discipline, which led to today's situation. However, the changes had already begun, and they couldn't say anything. Night Sorrow didn't care about this. He asked about Yi Shouk's cultivation and the Medicine Valley's current situation. Although he was a little angry, he still couldn't let go of the Medicine Valley. Night Sorrow only felt relieved when he heard that everything was fine in the Medicine Valley. After staying in the mansion for a day, Night Sorrow went to Reincarnation Island to ask about the supply of resources. Although the Four Heaven Wasteland Army had consumed a lot of resources, he still had to solve it if he could. After asking, Night Sorrow was relieved. The elders increased the supply of resources to the Heaven Wasteland Army on Reincarnation Island. Night Sorrow told Nan Yong and the other commanders that Nan Yong, Shi Cheng, and Song Jin Gang should take care of the newcomer Lu Chang, because they would be comrades in battle in the future. After dealing with some trivial matters, Night Sorrow returned to Tianhuang City. When they arrived at the gate of Nirvana City, Night Sorrow glanced at the elders of the Humanitarian League. He wanted to say something, but he didn't. He then looked at Lin Piaomiao and said, "Sister Xian, keep an eye on Mo Tianji." With that, Night Sorrow leaped off the city gates and left. Originally, he wanted to tell Jun Xuanji this, but he felt that it wasn't appropriate. Jun Xuanji looked at him awkwardly, and the person he was looking for was Mo Tianji, who was related to Jun Xuanji. So, he didn't tell Jun Xuanji and went straight to Lin Piaomiao. Looking at Night Sorrow's departing figure, Jun Xuanji couldn't suppress the anger in his heart because Night Sorrow was still avoiding the question. Exhaling, Jun Xuanji suppressed his anger and looked at Lin Piaomiao. "I'm more familiar with the operation of the Humanitarian League. Let me arrange it." "Sure." Lin Piaomiao nodded. After Night Sorrow left the gate of Nirvana City, he let out a sigh of relief. He really didn't know how to face Jun Xuanji or how to solve the problem. He knew Jun Xuanji's feelings, but he felt that some things were too suitable. He already had a few wives and 6 children, so he didn't want to face this problem. All he could do was avoid it. When he passed by the main body, Night Sorrow glanced at it. Then, he went to the stronghold that was blocking the Nirvana storm. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation. In the stronghold, the Grand Elder and Lu Qi were there. Lin Chuan, Long Jin, Tianyu, Yi Mei, and Xiao Gu were also there. "Why are you all here?" Night Sorrow looked at Lin Chuan and the others and asked. "Grand Commander, when they come, we'll kill another wave," Lin Chuan said. "If it was a true gentleman's fight, I wouldn't stop you. However, the devil-winged race isn't doing that now. If they feel that it's not enough, they'll play a lose-lose battle or self-destruct. You and Long Jin have no problem fighting at the Emperor rank, but you won't be able to withstand their constant research and refinement. If they really come up with an effective counter-tactic, it will be troublesome." Night Sorrow shook his head. "Brother 13, let me fight." "They don't understand me," Tianyu said. "If they come to challenge a middle-class emperor, then you can go." However, I didn't notice any middle-class emperor. Night Sorrow looked at Tianyu and Yi Mei and said. He didn't want Tianyu and Yi Mei to take the risk. No one refuted Night Sorrow's words. Even Long Jin and the others wanted to fight. They were confident in themselves. They knew that Night Sorrow cared about them. If the opponent doesn't come, there's no point in you all being anxious. Lu Qi laughed. Probably not. They've been losing without a single victory. They won't be able to take it, Night Sorrow said. They want face and momentum, but they don't see any hope of victory. Perhaps they have some trump cards at other levels, but with you blocking them, they won't have a chance to use them. Grand Elder and Lu Qi both predicted that the opponent wouldn't come. Grand Elder, they will come. They don't have much time left. In another era, Heaven Wasteland Domain will be destroyed. At that time, the Devil Imperial City and Heaven Wasteland Domain won't be enough for them to develop. Their alliances won't be strong either. Therefore, in this era, they won't give up on any opportunity, even if it's a chance of great losses. They don't desire victory, but rather a life and death struggle, Knight Sorrow said. Grand Elder and Lu Chi nodded. After hearing Knight Sorrow's words, their original thoughts were shaken. In fact, Knight Sorrow was right. Not long after, the Demon Wing clan came again. This time, the leader was Mo Lu, and Mo Zhantian stood behind the team. If possible, Mo Zhantian really didn't want to come. It was really embarrassing to be slapped in the face again and again. However, if someone else led the team, he wouldn't be able to analyze the situation in depth. He had to know Knight Sorrow's limits and weaknesses. Therefore, this time, Mo Lu led the team and he followed behind the team. He wouldn't show himself if he could. Mo Lu's cultivation wasn't very high, but he was an elder of the Elder Guild of the Devil Imperial City. He was a manager and had no problem leading a team. As soon as this happened, Lin Chuan laughed. His laughter was very despicable. After leaving the stronghold, he stretched out his hand and wanted to hook his finger. However, after glancing at Knight Sorrow, he withdrew his hand. He cleared his throat and said, "Why is there a change? Can't your heart take the blow? You guys always say that strength speaks. What's the point of showing off now? If you want to fight, then fight. If not, then go back," Mo Lu said. He was a manager of the Devil Imperial City all year round, so in terms of language, he was better than Mo Zhantian. Brother 13? Tianyu looked at Knight Sorrow. If the opponent's middle-class emperor accepts your challenge, you can fight 2 rounds today. After looking at Tianyu, Knight Sorrow made his decision. He felt that with only 2 rounds, the opponent wouldn't be able to figure out anything. Hearing Knight Sorrow's words, Tianyu walked out with his long sword. "Hey! I'm here. Do you have any middle-class emperor coming out to give me your head?" "Knight Sorrow, you don't dare to come out?" A young man from the Demon Wing clan stood out. Chapter 2106. If it's your turn to die, you won't be able to avoid it. This one Emperor Tribulation Man spoke. He was one of the most outstanding geniuses of the Devil Wing race in this era, Mo Feiying. Your leader was just boasting shamelessly about speaking with strength and not using words. Now that you are saying this, are you trying to slap his face? Lin Chuan asked them why they suddenly changed leaders. Knight Sorrow couldn't be bothered with Mo Feiying. It wasn't that he couldn't use words and psychological tactics. "Hey! Why is your leader at the back? How many times has he come and he always leads people to their deaths? Is his face hurt from the slap? Answer me." Lin Chuan played along with Yi Shan's plan and shouted directly at Mo Zhantian. Mo Zhantian's eyes flashed with radiance. Lin Chuan's words really hit his sore spot. If he could, he wanted to kill Lin Chuan and stew his corpse. Who is going to fight and kill him? Mo Lu pointed at Tianyu and shouted. He knew that he couldn't continue this conversation. If he did, it would hurt Mo Zhantian's face. Mo Zhantian's face was the face of the Devil Wing race. Hearing Mo Lu's words, a middle-class emperor from the Devil Wing race stood out. As long as one wasn't an idiot, one would know that only a fight could solve the problem of Mo Zhantian continuing to lose face. Without any communication, Tianyu started the fight. A true fight to the death was a competition of strength and foundation. Tianyu was from the Green Rock race, one of the top divine beast races in the celestial realm. His strength suppressed the Devil Wing race and he had the absolute advantage in speed. The Devil Wing race emperor had wings on his back, but his speed wasn't as fast as Tianyu. The Green Rock race's innate ability allowed Tianyu's speed to be faster than the Devil Wing race emperor, even though the Devil Wing race's wings had a boost to his speed. After Tianyu used Wing Slash, the Devil Wing race's middle-class emperor fell into a disadvantage. Feeling that there was no hope of victory, this Devil Wing race emperor was very straightforward and didn't hesitate to self-destruct the energy in his body. Faced with such a situation, Tianyu naturally pushed his speed to the limit to avoid the threat of his opponent's self-destruction. The Devil Wing race emperor who had already self-detonated naturally didn't want Tianyu to escape like this. If Tianyu ran away, who would he bomb? Using a body as the price to self-destruct, just to hear a sound? The Demon Wing Race Emperor wasn't willing to give up and increased his speed to the extreme. He chased after Tianyu and wanted to self-destruct when he got close to Tianyu. Tianyu used his innate ability, void travel, to dodge the Devil Wing Race Emperor's self-destruction. He then landed in front of the Grand Elder and the others. 13th brother, I believe you. How are they fighting? Their lives are not worth as much as a dog's. You scared me to death. Tianyu exhaled. Yes, this is no longer a regular battle. Knight Sorrow nodded. He was very clear about the Devil Wing race's current situation. They had to get rid of all obstacles in their way at all costs. Mo Feiying stood out and walked in between the two sides. He waved his battle blade. Since I, Mo Feiying, started my career, I have fought in alternate spaces and other realms many times. I have met many experts and have never been defeated. Today, you will be one of the dead souls under my battle blade. After speaking, Mo Feiying looked at Yi Shang, his eyes filled with killing intent. Ev. Knight Sorrow stretched his body and walked out of the stronghold. At the same time, he looked at Lin Chuan and said, prepare to carve words. Just as Knight Sorrow finished speaking, Mo Feiying started to attack. The battle blade in his hand was full of black destructive energy. He extended his body and transformed into 5 figures that attacked Knight Sorrow. After using the void steps to change his position and arrange his defense, Knight Sorrow started to observe Mo Feiying's situation. With the spread of his soul power, Knight Sorrow found that Mo Feiying's situation was similar to the Phantom race. The energy clones had 70% of the original body's energy and had both attack and defense power. Mo Feiying's attacks were very sharp. The 5 figures attacked at the same time and slashed out continuously, enveloping the entire battlefield. Knight Sorrow waved his blood-Qilin evil-slaying spear and kept attacking, blocking all the attacks of Mo Feiying's energy clones. At the same time, he used the void steps to move his body. He did not want to face more than 2 energy clones. He was guarding against self-destruction. When several energy clones self-destructed together, the power would be great. Mo Feiying's speed was very fast. In addition to the saber attacks, he also had soul attacks. However, the soul attacks were ineffective against Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow's head had a green halo rippling, blocking all the soul attacks. You are not much. I don't know how arrogant you were in the past. Mo Feiying, who was temporarily in the upper hand, roared. The more he fought, the fiercer he became. However, it was to no avail. Knight Sorrow's speed was very fast. His body was like a blade of the void. When he moved, it was as if he was cutting through space and teleporting to the next place. Why isn't 13th brother using his ultimate move? Yi Mei was a little anxious. Mo Feiying's current combat strength was indeed shocking. Lin Chuan, Long Jin, and the others did not say anything. They did not even blink, mainly because they did not want to miss anything. After fighting for 15 minutes, Knight Sorrow's aura changed. His space-time attribute Dao domain switched to the reincarnation Dao domain. The power of the Dao domain rushed out in all directions. Then, he used the soul extinguishing slash, slashing at the figure with the densest energy. Knight Sorrow could tell that it was Mo Feiying's true body. When Knight Sorrow released his reincarnation Dao domain, Mo Feiying was immediately suppressed. So what if he had the supreme attribute? He was still suppressed by the taboo attribute. After releasing his Dao domain and changing the situation, Knight Sorrow's spear technique also changed. Every move was an ultimate move. He kept attacking Mo Feiying's true body. Mo Feiying naturally understood what was going on. He knew that Knight Sorrow was using his full strength. He controlled his energy clone to intercept Knight Sorrow, not giving Knight Sorrow a chance to attack his true body. When Knight Sorrow attacked Mo Feiying's true body and was intercepted by the energy clones, he executed the spacetime realm and went around Mo Feiying's energy clones to attack his true body. The space-time realm was a top-notch ultimate move. It allowed Night Sorrow to shuttle back and forth between the alternate space and the celestial realm. Mo Fei Ying's energy clone could not intercept him. Night Sorrow used the true reincarnation dragon art and primordial extreme kill to continuously attack Mo Fei Ying's true body. After successfully cultivating the primordial attribute, Night Sorrow's void attribute ultimate move became the primordial attribute ultimate move. Its power was different from before. Mo Fei Ying's energy clone was constantly being damaged and destroyed by Night Sorrow's attacks. Night Sorrow used his ultimate move to activate the ripple force, which caused great damage to the energy clone. After fighting for an hour, more than half of the energy in Mo Fei Ying's true body was consumed. As his energy clone was constantly being destroyed, he could not bear it. At that moment, Mo Fei Ying's body shook, and another figure appeared. Primordial Extreme Body. Chapter 2107. Mo Fei Ying's doppelganger consumed a lot of energy, but his main body was in peak condition. This was the effect he wanted. His doppelganger would exhaust Night Sorrow's doppelganger, and then his main body would go out and kill Night Sorrow by surprise. After all, his main body's combat power was higher than his doppelganger's. The appearance of Mo Fei Ying's main body shocked the Grand Elder and Lu Qi. Both of them stood up. Mo Fei Ying's strength was very strong, and his schemes were terrifying. At this time, he still had a hidden trump card, which was deadly. 2 of Mo Fei Ying's 8 energy clones rushed towards Night Sorrow. He had already calculated that as long as the 8 energy clones trapped Night Sorrow, he would self-destruct. Even if he would suffer a great negative impact, he would still do so to destroy Night Sorrow's doppelganger. His purpose of fighting would be achieved. However, Mo Fei Ying was not very confident because Night Sorrow's movement technique was too heaven-defying. There were not many opportunities to trap Night Sorrow. The scene was still in a stalemate. Both sides were grasping the key points. Night Sorrow's target was Mo Fei Ying's main body, while Mo Fei Ying was seizing the opportunity to trap Night Sorrow and self-destruct. Intense. This battle was the most intense battle since the arranged battle. Mo Fei Ying's strength was indeed strong. Each of his energy clones used different techniques and precept domains. Night Sorrow's spacetime realm was overbearing. Mo Fei Ying could not trap Night Sorrow, so he thought of a way to kill him. In fact, it was not his idea, but Mo Zhantian's soul voice transmission. Mo Fei Ying wanted to use his main body as bait, and then the 8 energy clones would surround him and self-destruct. With this plan in mind, Mo Fei Ying's main body's movement speed decreased. Night Sorrow naturally seized the opportunity. He approached Mo Fei Ying's main body, and Mo Fei Ying's 8 energy clones also surrounded him. Exhaling, Night Sorrow's power of merit burst out and supported his reincarnation precept domain. Then, the power of the precept domain attacked in all directions. Following that, the blood Qilin evil slaying spear used the reincarnation true dragon art and attacked Mo Fei Ying's main body. With the release of Night Sorrow's merit precept domain, Mo Fei Ying's 8 energy clones were all blocked outside Night Sorrow's precept domain. Even if they self-destruct, their power would not be able to use. Meanwhile, Yishan's killer move arrived in front of Mo Fei Ying's main body. Mo Fei Ying's main body. He did not expect Mo's main body would be So's main body's attack. Unable to dodge the attack, Mo Fei Ying's doppelganger flashed. Relying on his soul power, Mo Fei Ying's doppelganger arrived before Mo Fei Ying's main body. Chapter 2. Chapter 2. Buzz. Night Sorrow's blood Qilin evil slaying spear appeared and blocked Mo Fei Ying's battle blade. Then, it poured into the chest of Mo Fei Ying's clone. As the blood Qilin evil slaying spear's energy vibrated, Mo Fei Ying's meridians and bones were all destroyed. At this juncture, Mo Fei Ying's main body woke up. He quickly retreated and returned to the Devil-Winged Clan's camp. His 8 energy clones also dissipated. After Night Sorrow kept Mo Feiying's clone storage ring and weapon, he looked at Mo Feiying and said, spouting nonsense and boasting shamelessly. Now, do you know how arrogant I was in the past? Mo Feiying's face was pale. Not only did he lose face, but his body and soul were also severely injured. He really could not answer Night Sorrow's question. How could he answer? What if Night Sorrow wanted to fight again if he opened his mouth? Mo Zhantian, is this the gentleman's battle that you want? A gentleman's battle will not end until one of us dies. You ran away just like that? The Grand Elder stood up. This time, we were in the wrong. We lost this battle. Mo Zhantian did not refute the Grand Elder's words. After speaking to the Grand Elder, Mo Zhantian did not wait for the Grand Elder to speak. He then looked at the Devil-Winged Clan's camp and said, I don't want to execute you. However, if something like this happens again in the future, I will not tolerate it. The Grand Elder snorted and did not speak again. Mo Feiying had retreated. It was not realistic to catch him. Even if Mo Zhantian had spoken, he would not hand him over. After taking a look at Mo Feiying, Night Sorrow returned to the stronghold. Lin Chuan carved his name. Tianyu poured a glass of wine for Night Sorrow. Brother Shirsan is so domineering. Lu Qi also patted Night Sorrow's shoulder. He knew that Mo Feiying was really strong. Other than Night Sorrow, the other First Emperor Tribulation cultivators of the Celestial Realm could not take him down. Even if they went to battle, they would be killed. Night Sorrow had also used the power of the Human Emperor to defeat him. Of course, Mo Feiying's original body and doppelganger had fought together. Night Sorrow was only a doppelganger, so they were fundamentally different. While Night Sorrow's original body was cultivating, he was also studying Mo Feiying's battle specialties. His doppelganger was talking to Lin Chuan and the others. On top of the Nirvana City's gate tower, Feng Yu Xian also nodded. Grand Elder, this human emperor of the Celestial Realm's 100 tribes is really amazing. The battle strength that he displayed just now was really strong. Haha. After he went to battle, he completely suppressed the gentleman's challenge of the Demon Wing clan. He also killed some of their ideas and goals. The Grand Elder nodded with a smile. He was very happy now. After living for 8 eras, he had seen all kinds of cultivators. Some were killed by the heavenly tribulation, but he had never seen anyone with a battle strength like Night Sorrow. The cultivators of the Demon Wing clan are really strong. That cultivator from the world of 9 Yin and Mo Feiying from the Demon Wing clan are both very outstanding. We have to admit that. Also, we have to be careful. The more the human emperor fights, the more the other side will understand, Feng Yu Xian said. The Grand Elder nodded. This was also what he was worried about. The Demon Wing clan temporarily gave up the challenge. The situation had already exceeded Mo Zhantian's expectations. He originally calculated that Mo Feiying and Night Sorrow were about the same level, but in fact, Mo Feiying and his doppelganger were not able to defeat Night Sorrow. In such a situation, he knew that it would be very difficult to win if they continued to fight. Knowing Night Sorrow's strength and being able to restrain him were two different things. Since the Demon Wing clan did not challenge, Night Sorrow was also too lazy to fight. He was now in the period of increasing his strength, and the longer he fought, the more benefits he would gain. However, there were still people who were unwilling to do so. Yin Xiaotian of the Demon Wing clan was unwilling. Yin Ming record had failed, but his battle strength was not something Yin Ming record could compare to. There was also a huge gap between the two. There was also the genius of the Demon Wing clan, Dark Feather. She was a woman, but her cultivation was at the Second Emperor Tribulation. Yin Xiaotian and Dark Feather wanted to fight, but were stopped by Mo Zhantian. Mo Zhantian did not want to waste any more talents and opportunities. The cultivators of the Demon Wing clan were strong, but there were not many who could truly stand on the same level as them, so he cherished them. If it was not for cherishing talents, he would not have told the Grand Elder that the Demon Wing clan was in the wrong and killed Mo Feiying. That way, the Demon Wing clan would not lose face. Chapter 2108. Mo Tianji felt that the most important thing now was to solve the problem of her own safety. If the patriarch of the 100 races of Celestial Realm found her through Jun Xuanji's soul, she would be dead for sure. Mo Tianji was a confident person, but there was a limit to her confidence. She could talk about confidence with ordinary cultivators, but not with the city lord, King Yanwu, and the Grand Elder. If the three of them found her, she didn't dare to think about the consequences. After thinking for a while, Mo Tianji decided to find a way to reach the Nirvana Ocean Bridge and meet up with Mo Zhantian. Then, they could return to the Demon Imperial City and resolve the crisis. Mo Tianji knew that it would be very difficult to reach the Nirvana Ocean Bridge and meet up with Mo Zhantian. The city was heavily guarded, and it would be almost impossible for her to get there. Most importantly, her soul realm was high. If she appeared in the city, she would be easily discovered by the city lord and the Grand Elder. After thinking for a while, Mo Tianji came up with an idea. If she couldn't do it, she would let someone else do it. She would control someone to enter the city and let them get onto the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. As long as they could get out of the city and onto the bridge, she would have a chance. Mo Tianji was a person who did big things and was also a person with courage. She would do what she thought, and she had a plan. Mo Tianji planned to capture a famous monarch emperor who didn't walk around much. She planned to control this monarch emperor to bring a spatial treasure to the city. She would stay in the spatial treasure and find a chance to get to the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. Mo Tianji didn't consider the monarch emperor of the Ethereal Dynasty because the Ethereal Dynasty had many connections in the city. It would be easy for problems to arise. After investigating, Mo Tianji locked onto a monarch emperor called Luo Cheng. Luo Cheng's title was Savage Monarch Emperor. There were two reasons for this title. One was that Luo Cheng's battle style was fierce and he fought like a savage. The other was that Luo Cheng lived in Savage Valley. Mo Tianji had other reasons for choosing Luo Cheng. She felt that Luo Cheng had a weakness. Luo Cheng had a wife and 2 children. She felt that as long as she controlled Luo Cheng's family, Luo Cheng would submit. Another point was that Luo Cheng had nothing to do with the 100 Races Alliance of the Celestial Realm and the Celestial Realm. In other words, he did not have a sense of existence. This situation also showed that Luo Cheng did not have a sense of belonging to the 100 Races Alliance of the Celestial Realm. After locking onto the target, Mo Tianji took action. She was a decisive person and had a strong sense of danger. If she didn't deal with Jun Xuanji, she would face the risk of being exterminated by the 3 giants of the Celestial Realm. CLQ. Hereafter cultivating in the time acceleration for many years, Mo Tianji was already a peak mid-stage Imperial Emperor. She was naturally not afraid of Luo Cheng, who was also an Imperial Emperor. She directly went to Yeren Valley. While Luo Cheng was cultivating, Mo Tianji subdued Luo Cheng's wife and children. She knocked them all unconscious and threw them into her spatial treasure. After Luo Cheng reacted, he started fighting with Mo Tianji. Mo Tianji and Luo Cheng had the same cultivation, but their actual combat power was like heaven and earth. Luo Cheng's every attack was neutralized by Mo Tianji and repelled. In half an hour, Luo Cheng was repelled countless times. In other words, if Mo Tianji wanted to kill him, she would have killed him countless times. Who are you? What do you want? Luo Cheng roared at Mo Tianji with bloodshot eyes. Can we talk now? If you think we can talk, then let's talk. Mo Tianji swung her skirt and sat down on a stone stool. Who are you? What do you want? Luo Cheng roared, asking the same question. Who I am is not important. What's important is whether you can work for me. After speaking, Mo Tianji's soul power moved and took Luo Cheng's unconscious daughter out of the spatial treasure. Her right hand's 5 fingers moved around Luo Cheng's daughter's head. Luo Cheng's expression changed greatly. He knew this was a threat. If he didn't compromise, if he didn't do as the woman wanted, his daughter's head would be crushed instantly. Mo Tianji smiled. Have you thought it through? Can you work for me? After asking this, Mo Tianji's right hand grabbed the top of Luo Cheng's daughter's head. Stop. You can ask for anything. Luo Cheng shouted. He couldn't bear to see his daughter's head being crushed in front of him. He hated himself for being so useless. They were both monarch emperors, but he was much weaker than Mo Tianji. Then I'll ask for something. If you work for me, I'll give you a chance. As long as you do as I ask, after it's done, you and I will be me. There will be no more entanglements. Mo Tianji said. Luo Cheng didn't say anything. Mo Tianji's words were too vague. He couldn't accept it. He couldn't be someone's subordinate for the rest of his life. Bring my spatial treasure to Tianhuang City. Bring it to the gates of Nirvana City and your mission will be complete. I will release your wife and daughter and have no more entanglements with you. Mo Tianji stated her purpose. You're Mo Tianji. Luo Cheng looked at Mo Tianji. He wasn't a fool. He didn't have much contact with the outside world, but he knew some important things. After hearing Mo Tianji's request and analyzing the situation, he knew who this woman was. Only Mo Tianji of the Devil Wing clan would have such a request. I'm not surprised that you know me. However, this has nothing to do with your choice. You have two choices today. The first is to swear to the heavenly Tao that you will work for me. If you fulfill my request, I will release your family. The second is to send your family on their way. After that, I will choose another target. Mo Tianji's right hand started to tighten. Stop. I can work for you, but you have to swear to the heavenly Tao that you won't harm my wife and children. You can't purposely trick me either. Otherwise, I will be destroyed by the heavens and earth. Luo Cheng said. Luo Cheng knew that danger was coming. If he didn't do as Mo Tianji asked, his family would die. If he did as Mo Tianji asked, he would still die if he was exposed. Therefore, he asked for a way to protect himself. All right. My goal is to step onto the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. To put it bluntly, a monarch like you is just a small fish in my eyes. It's not worth tricking you. Mo Tianji swore to the heavenly Tao according to Luo Cheng's request. She was in a hurry to go back. Therefore, even though she felt that it was beneath her to swear to the heavenly Tao, she still swore to avoid unnecessary trouble. Looking at Mo Tianji, Luo Cheng swore to the heavenly Tao as well. He would bring Mo Tianji to the entrance of Nirvana City. What happened next would be Mo Tianji's own business. I won't trick you. I will think for you. When the time comes, I will leave your side. I will leave on my own so that you have a chance to survive in the celestial realm. However, you have to think for me too. This is a cooperation. Mo Tianji said. Luo Cheng nodded. He knew that this was his fate. If something went wrong, he would either die at Mo Tianji's hands or die under the rules of the Celestial Realm's 100 Races Alliance. He could only live if everything went well. Chapter 2109. Although her heart was pounding, Mo Tianji knew that she could not wait any longer because the sense of danger was too strong. She had to take her fate into her own hands. After reaching an agreement, Mo Tianji took out a spatial treasure and threw it to Luo Cheng. Luo Cheng, your family is here. I'll give it to you now, but don't try to open it. After I leave, I'll take back my soul imprint. Looking at the cauldron-like spatial treasure in his hand, Luo Cheng nodded and put it away. He didn't want to open it by force because he knew what kind of person Mo Tianji was. If she wanted to destroy it, it would be very easy. Then, Mo Tianji took out a loft-like spatial treasure. Take this with you. I'll communicate with you through my soul power. Let's go now. With that, Mo Tianji disappeared from the real world and entered the spatial treasure. Reaching out and grabbing the loft-like spatial treasure, Luo Cheng knew that the test of fate had begun. He did not know if he could pass it. After leaving the Yaren Valley, Luo Qing hurried toward the ethereal imperial city. Many people knew that the ethereal imperial city had an emperor-level teleportation formation that led to the heaven wasteland city. It was not a secret. At present, not only were there people from the ethereal imperial court guarding it, there were also commanders of the heaven wasteland army taking turns to guard it. Luo Qing felt that he could pass it. Even if he had been living in seclusion and did not walk in the celestial realm, there would be a record of him in the heaven wasteland city. Besides, he did not have any bad records. Even if he was investigated, he was qualified to serve the heaven wasteland city. Luo Cheng's teleportation formation was stopped because not everyone could teleport. It needed to be investigated. The heaven wasteland city was very strict because of the Divine Devil Castle, an information organization. In less than 4 hours, the commander of the heaven wasteland army allowed Luo Cheng to teleport. After the Divine Devil Castle investigated the information, Luo Qing passed the investigation and was qualified to enter the Heaven Wasteland City. Taking the teleportation formation, Luo Qing arrived at the Heaven Wasteland City. Then, he applied to join the Heaven Wasteland Army. He needed a reason to come to the Heaven Wasteland City, and his reason was to join the Heaven Wasteland Army. Luo Qing was assigned to the reserve army camp to wait for the recruitment of the Heaven Wasteland Army. At the same time, he was also qualified to walk around the Heaven Wasteland City. Mo Tianji was very nervous. This was a critical moment. She could only check a small area with her soul power. She didn't want to be detected by the mayor and the Grand Elder. Luo Qing also told Mo Tianji about the situation outside. The soldiers of Heavenly Wasteland City often went to the entrance of Nirvana City to feel the aura of the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. Luo Qing was also qualified to do so. He explained the situation on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge to Mo Tianji. That's the Grand Elder of the Council of Elders. I can only leave when he's not around. I can't leave now. She could choose not to avoid other people, but she had to avoid the city lord of Tianhuang City, King Yawu, and the Grand Elder, the 3 giants of the Council of Patriarchs. As long as she could avoid these 3 people, she was confident that she could break through the blockade and meet up with Mo Zhantian. Mo Zhantian would be able to bring her away. However, what made Mo Tianji frustrated was that the Great Elder was not moving on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. Mo Tianji was not the only one who was frustrated. Luo Qing was also anxious. He was anxious to send the plague god away so that he and his family would be safe. The Grand Elder stayed in the stronghold on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. When he was interested, he would guide the cultivation of Lin Chuan and the others. Even if he had nothing to do, he would close his eyes and rest. He had no intention of leaving. The Grand Elder was worried about Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's avatar and main body were on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. If Heavenly Wasteland City didn't care about morals and rules, then Night Sorrow would be in danger. This was a risk that the Grand Elder wasn't willing to take. Under such circumstances, Mo Tianji and Luo Qing couldn't do anything. Mo Tianji was worried that Luo Qing wouldn't be able to hold on. She promised Luo Qing that as long as he persevered, she would return the Nirvana Ocean Bridge to Luo Qing and his family in 3 years. And $5 original first offer, okay. Luo Qing felt more at ease after receiving Mo Tianji's promise. Since he didn't have the chance to send Mo Tianji away, Luo Qing lived his life normally. He successfully joined the Heavenly Wasteland Army and stayed in Heavenly Wasteland City. At the gate of Nirvana City, Jun Xuanji frowned after hearing the report from his subordinates. There was still no news. Even the fortune teller was useless because Mo Tianji had a treasure that could prevent her from being divined. Manager Jun, is there something wrong? Pu Luo asked. That's not right. Last time, when she arranged for someone to guide me in my cultivation, she should have known about my situation. I wasn't punished by the 100 Races Alliance and was living well. She should have analyzed that I would enter the Emperor realm and awaken my memories, Jun Xuanji said. If she has such an analysis and judgment, then it's not right. Lin Piaomiao nodded. She shouldn't be so calm. After I awaken my memories, as long as I don't seal them, I will have some connection with her. Do you think she's not afraid? Naturally, she's afraid that the Hundred Races Alliance will find her through the connection. Does she plan to stay in a spatial treasure for the rest of her life? That's not realistic, Jun Xuanji said. This woman is cunning and hard to deal with, the great demon king said. The main thing is that we can't find her. It's indeed difficult to deal with her. Jun Xuanji rubbed his forehead. The Humanitarian League began to analyze the situation. After talking for a while, everyone came to a conclusion. Mo Tianji only had two choices. One was to stay in the spatial treasure and isolate her aura so that Jun Xuanji would not be able to sense her. The other was to find a way to return to the Devil Imperial City of Heaven Wasteland. The current situation of the Devil Imperial City is quite special. In order to prepare for war, the Devil Imperial City has recruited a lot of new people. It's hard to say who these people are. Perhaps some of them are Mo Tianji's lackeys, Jun Xuanji said. Then how can we catch her? Do you have any good ideas? Yu Zhu asked. Jun Xuanji lowered his head and thought. He didn't say anything. He knew that if she married someone and then unsealed her soul, Mo Tianji's Dao heart would be destroyed. She wouldn't be able to continue cultivating the emotionless Dao. That wasn't realistic. Emotions couldn't be replicated. This was a good plan, but Jun Xuanji couldn't say it. No matter what, she was someone who cared about her reputation. There were some things that she couldn't say to others. Jun Xuanji was thinking, but the others didn't say anything. The Nirvana Ocean Bridge isn't that easy to cross. Even if Mo Tianji comes to the Devil Imperial City, she won't dare to move. The Grand Elder is always on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge, Reese said. He didn't care about these things. If there were battles, he would fight. If there were no battles, he would live a comfortable life. Chapter 21:10. The battle did not continue. Mo Zhantian was thinking about how to solve the problem. He knew that the appearance of this difficulty was a hurdle for the Heaven Wasteland domain, a tribulation. The appearance of every human emperor of the Hundred Races Alliance of the Celestial Realm was a great blow to the Heaven Wasteland domain and the Demon Wing clan. It had always been like this. Many talented seniors of the Demon Wing clan had fallen in the hands of human emperors, including the demon ancestor of the previous reincarnation. Thinking of the demon ancestor, Mo Zhantian's heart beat rapidly. After a part of the demon ancestor's soul returned, it was different from before. It could even be said that it had a heartbeat. Of course, it would only beat once in a long time. Mo Zhantian had a deep understanding of the demon ancestor. He had seen the demon ancestor in battle. He knew that if the demon ancestor woke up, then the Demon Wing clan of the Heaven Wasteland domain could directly attack the Celestial Realm, and the Heaven Wasteland domain would not be able to stop them. The demon ancestor had fallen in the hands of a human emperor, and Night Sorrow had become a hindrance. Mo Zhantian was thinking about how to solve the problem. At present, there were still several powerful figures in the Demon Wing clan's camp, including Yin Shao Tian and Dark Feather. In addition, there was a cultivator of the First Emperor Tribulation from the Thousand Mountains domain who had recently arrived. Night Sorrow had said that he would accept any battle with a cultivator of the Second Emperor Tribulation, which meant that Dark Feather was also qualified to fight with Night Sorrow. Mo Zhantian had 3 trump cards in his hands, but he did not dare to use them easily. In addition, he took out the best resources of the Demon Wing clan to let Mo Feiying recover fully. Mo Feiying's future achievements aside, his current fighting strength was very strong. After recovering, he was still qualified to fight with Night Sorrow, and had the opportunity to severely injure Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's realm and soul power improved very quickly. He integrated the essence of the Dao domain into his body, so that while his body was strengthened, it also had Dao rhythms. Of course, he was only a cultivator of the First Emperor Tribulation, and the power of the Dao domain was not enough. Using it to strengthen his body, it only gave his body a trace of Dao rhythms. Time flew by quickly. After a year of confrontation, Night Sorrow once again made progress. His force of nothingness had reached 20%. In other words, he had passed the Thunder Tribulation, so he was now a cultivator of the Second Emperor Tribulation. However, Night Sorrow was not in a hurry to transcend the tribulation. He continued to cultivate his other attributes and continued to improve his limitless attribute. Night Sorrow had broken through the bottleneck of the limitless attribute from intermediate to advanced, but it was still exceptionally difficult to cultivate. After all, it was a domain that he wasn't proficient in. Last time, after analyzing the 9 attribute, his limitless attribute had a breakthrough and reached the 8-star Emperor rank, which was the intermediate Emperor rank. However, after 50 years of accelerated cultivation, he had only improved a little. He hadn't even reached the mid-stage 8-star Monarch realm. However, Night Sorrow's state of mind was good. He was happy to see any improvement. He knew that no matter which cultivator, if they wanted to have any achievements, they would have to go through many years of cultivation. He was already very satisfied with himself. Night Sorrow had improved, and so did the people around him. The people around him were all clones, while his true body was cultivating at a high speed. In this year, the person who improved the fastest was Jun Xuanji. Her speed could be described as heaven-defying. Ever since she had awakened her memories, her cultivation had been increasing in a straight line. Mo Tianji's cultivation experience and comprehension were actually hers. Her cultivation path was to absorb energy to increase her cultivation and stabilize her realm. This was something that no one could compare to. Jun Xuanji, who was cultivating in the time acceleration, was already at the peak of the Emperor realm. She could step into the Emperor realm at any time. In the entire celestial realm's history, other than Night Sorrow, no one had Jun Xuanji's speed. One had to know that she was about the same age as Night Sorrow. Of course, everyone knew that there was a cause and effect relationship. Jun Xuanji was a reincarnation. Her cultivation path was different from Night Sorrow's. Another thing was that the Yi clan had another Emperor realm expert. Datura, whose original body had been cultivating in the Yellow Spring River, had stepped into the Emperor realm. This was great news for the Yi clan. Currently, the Yi clan had 3 cultivators above the Emperor realm: Night Sorrow, Lin Piaomiao, and Datura. Such a clan didn't exist in the celestial realm. After entering the Emperor realm, Datura met Night Sorrow once. She told Night Sorrow that she had comprehended another absolute art. It was a top-notch absolute art, undying body. She could fight like the devil eagle. Moreover, all of them were real bodies and wouldn't be killed. No matter which body was killed, it would only consume energy. It had nothing to do with the original body or the clone's real body. This was the talent of the heavenly Tao Bell spirit, Datura. As long as one of the original body and the clone had an energy body, they would be undying and indestructible. After hearing Datura's words, Night Sorrow was incomparably happy. His wife had a way to protect herself, so he could worry less. Night Sorrow. In the end, it's us humans who are at a disadvantage. Our talents can't compare to the divine beasts and some life forms born from the heaven and earth Bell spirit. The Grand Elder said with a smile. Humans are the spirit of all living things. Humans might not be as talented, but I feel that in terms of perception, humans should have an advantage. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said. Lu Qi clapped her hands. Smart people. No matter if it's the divine beasts or life forms born from the heaven and earth Bell spirit, they are indeed stronger than humans in certain stages. However, to reach the peak, they need perception. Throughout the history of the celestial realm, the real cultivators who can reach the peak are all humans. What does this mean? It means that perception is very important. Ah Luo, don't take it to heart. Your path is different from others. In the past, there was no such situation. After speaking, Lu Qi explained. He didn't want his words to cause a knot in Datura's heart and affect his future cultivation. 7 Clan Elder, you worry too much. Datura smiled. Night Sorrow, how's your original body's cultivation going? The Grand Elder changed the topic. Everything is going well. One of my attributes has reached the level of the second emperor tribulation, but I'm not in a hurry to go through the tribulation. I plan to wait. The other party has a few powerful ones at the level of the first emperor tribulation. I'll wait for them to challenge me. Night Sorrow said. You're too ruthless. You're trying to destroy their seedlings and destroy their foundation. The Grand Elder said. Every force cared about the elites of the younger generation because that was the future. According to Night Sorrow's thinking, the demon-winged clan would have a shortage of elites in the future. Forever, R. Long Free, C. F. Small 3 said %, Grand Elder, it doesn't matter whether I'm ruthless or not. What's important is that the Celestial Realms Alliance of 100 races needs stability. This era is over, this cycle is over, and Tianhuang is destroyed. However, the demon-winged clan and the demon imperial city are rooted in our celestial realm. Who can say that they can break the demon imperial city? If we can't break it, then we have to do our best to severely damage the strength of the demon-winged clan. I want to fight for this era. Night Sorrow said his thoughts. Chapter 21:11. The Grand Elder sighed. He knew that Night Sorrow was doing this for the celestial realm. If it were not for the 100 Races Alliance of the celestial realm, Night Sorrow would have been able to cultivate steadily, which was equivalent to 8 more epochs, close to one cycle of life. Everyone believed that Night Sorrow, even without the taboo attribute, could pass the Emperor Tribulation by relying on his supreme attribute and body of merit. Night Sorrow smiled. Our standpoint is different from that of the Heaven Wasteland domain. In fact, we cannot say that they are wrong, but the celestial realm is our celestial realm, and we will not allow them to strut around. Yes, the alternation between the old and new supreme worlds is the rule of the heavenly Tao. The life of the two worlds may not necessarily be unable to coexist, but the demon-winged race's position at the beginning was to rule and kill, so it continued and became an irreconcilable racial hatred, the Grand Elder said. Their civilization and philosophy are in conflict with ours, which is the basic reason why we cannot coexist. They think that the demon-winged race can be superior to other races, which is a big mistake. Fight, we will fight to the end. Night Sorrow said. We are about to fight to the end. This confrontation is the last epoch of the last cycle of the celestial realm. It is a battle to the death. No matter the result, we have an explanation to the ancestors of the 100 Races Alliance of the Celestial Realm. The Grand Elder looked in the direction of Heaven Wasteland domain. There had been too many cultivators of the Celestial Realm who had spilled blood over there. A long period of non-scheduled battles was disadvantageous for the demon-winged race who took the initiative to come for the Gentleman's Challenge. The Gentleman's Challenge was initiated by the demon-winged race. If they could not win, they would lose face and momentum. It should be said that the demon-winged race of Heaven Wasteland domain, like the cultivators of Heaven Wasteland domain, were very concerned about the process and result of the battle. The failure of the previous battles had already impacted the morale of the demon-winged race. A new wave of battles began. Zhen of the demon-winged race had challenged the Emperor, and Emperor Tribulation levels. They temporarily gave up on the Emperor Tribulation levels. On the 100 Races Alliance's side, Tianyu was at the top of the Emperor rank. Long Jin had already become a 9-star Emperor and had successfully passed his first Emperor Tribulation. At the Emperor Tribulation level, Mo Zhantian gave guidance to a few cultivators who had a chance to fight against Night Sorrow. Luo Cheng would walk around the city gate every day. After a year, Luo Cheng's heart had calmed down. He knew that there was no point in being anxious. If Mo Tianji didn't leave Tianhuang City, she wouldn't let him go. There had been no news of Mo Tianji, and Jun Xuanji felt a sense of crisis. Mo Tianji was one of the leaders of the Demon Wing clan. Whether it was in terms of background or courage, she could not be considered as a normal person. Who knew when she would cause a big incident? She had a solution, but she couldn't use it. Night Sorrow hadn't returned to the Heavenly Desolation City recently. His original body and avatar were cultivating on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. Jun Xuanji didn't even have a chance to communicate with him. Jun Xuanji knew that Night Sorrow wasn't targeting her. Everyone knew that Night Sorrow was like this when he cultivated. Falling in love and marrying someone else just to stabilize her Dao heart. The extremely proud Jun Xuanji wouldn't do such a thing. Even if the 100 races of the celestial realm were defeated, Jun Xuanji wouldn't do such a thing. This was her pride. After pondering for a moment, Jun Xuanji jumped down from the gate tower and arrived at the cultivation area of Night Sorrow's original body. Although the area within 200 miles of Night Sorrow's original body's cultivation area was forbidden, that was only for others. Sensing Jun Xuanji's arrival, Night Sorrow opened his eyes and stopped the time acceleration. At the same time, he descended from the clear sky pagoda. Xuanji, you're here. Did something big happen? Yes. I want to talk to you. Let's enter your spatial treasure. Jun Xuanji said. Night Sorrow nodded. His soul power enveloped Jun Xuanji and brought him into the clear sky pagoda's living space. Night Sorrow's living space in the clear sky pagoda wasn't luxurious, but it was very stylish. It was a cultivation room, but more like a study. After pulling out a chair for Jun Xuanji, Night Sorrow took out a teapot and was about to make tea. No tea. Let's drink today. Jun Xuanji took out a jar of wine and poured 2 bowls. J * new J sharp soonest read. Night Sorrow nodded and drank a mouthful of wine. Seeing that Jun Xuanji didn't say anything, the two of them fell into an awkward silence. It wasn't like this in the past. After a moment of awkward silence, Night Sorrow spoke. What's the matter? Today, I want to talk to you seriously. There are some things that we have to talk about, Jun Xuanji said. Okay, is the matter that serious? Yi Shan was stunned after hearing Jun Xuanji's words. Jun Xuanji nodded and told him about his deduction and estimation of Mo Tianji. Do you think Mo Tianji doesn't know that I've reached the peak of the Celestial Emperor realm? Wouldn't she be worried? So, she might already be executing her plan. It's definitely not in the planning stage, Jun Xuanji emphasized after telling him the details. Yi Shang stood up and paced back and forth a few times before saying, I've never thought about it. Based on your cultivation speed, her cultivation should be about the same as yours. Her soul is the soul of her main body, but your soul is highly compatible with your body, so your cultivation speed should be about the same. You really have to take this seriously. I've already taken this seriously, but that bitch is very good at hiding. Divination is useless against her. How can I find her? Jun Xuanji looked at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow slapped his forehead. I've been thinking about quickly improving myself and haven't paid much attention to these things. Thank you for your hard work. Do you know how hard it's been for me? Jun Xuanji asked. I know, of course I know. In the past, you helped me manage the 9 regions world, then the 9 heavens army, and now the Humanitarian League. I've seen all your hard work and I know how much you've done. Night Sorrow smiled at Jun Xuanji. He didn't want to talk while being suppressed. You know how much you've done. You're pushing me toward Qinglin. Jun Xuanji was a bit agitated. I apologize for that matter. I sincerely apologize. Night Sorrow quickly raised the wine bowl in his hand toward Jun Xuanji. I was angry at you, but I know that I have no reason to blame you. Let's not talk about the past. Now, let's talk about the future. First, we have to deal with Mo Tianji, that scourge. Jun Xuanji got to the point. This was also her goal. Tell me what to do. I'll arrange it. We can't let her escape. Her existence is also a threat to you. Night Sorrow nodded. You'll arrange it? Since you said so, I'll tell you the situation. Mo Tianji is in charge of the Demon Wing clan civilization. She prides herself on being holy and cultivates the emotionless Tao. Our souls come from the same place, but we cultivate the emotionless Tao. In the future, when the seal on my soul is released, our ideologies will clash. So, as long as I stabilize my Tao heart of the emotionless Tao, I'll be invincible, Jun Xuanji said. Different Tao hearts. I understand that. Continue. Night Sorrow glanced at Jun Xuanji and said. Chapter 21:12. Night Sorrow was stunned. He didn't expect Jun Xuanji to suddenly explode. Xuanji, calm down. Let's slowly resolve this. There's nothing that can't be resolved. Night Sorrow helped Jun Xuanji sit down. Night Sorrow, take me. I won't fight with Chu Yu and Yang Lei for anything. I won't even let them know. I just want to prove the emotional Tao. I just want to know that you like me. That's not asking for much, right? It's not like I'm wronging you. Even if you're wronged, no one will know. Jun Xuanji looked up at Night Sorrow and said the words that he had always wanted to say but never said. Xuanji, it's not me who's wronged, it's you who's wronged. That's why I've been avoiding it. We're brothers and sisters who have gone through life and death together. I don't want you to rashly decide your life. I don't want you to be wronged. Do you understand? Night Sorrow said. You don't want me to be wronged? Is that what you're thinking? Jun Xuanji looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Yes, that's what I'm thinking. Back then, when the 9 Regions world fought with the Profound Mysteries realm, I hurt the Jun family and you. I've always felt guilty, so I don't want you to be wronged or unhappy. I hope you can believe me, Night Sorrow said as he patted Jun Xuanji's shoulder. Night Sorrow, I won't believe anyone in this life but you. Even if you're trying to trick me, I'll believe you. Jun Xuanji hugged Night Sorrow's waist. Night Sorrow wanted to say something but didn't know where to start. He had a way to deal with everything and had the courage to face it. Only this kind of thing was something he couldn't solve. Night Sorrow, do you hate me? Jun Xuanji asked in a low voice. Yi Shang saw Jun Xuanji raise his head and shake his head with misty eyes. Then do you like me? Jun Xuanji's words were even more direct. Xuanji, you know I don't want to answer this because it's not appropriate, Night Sorrow said after hesitation. There's only yes and no. There's no one else here. Jun Xuanji stood up and looked into Night Sorrow's eyes. She would not allow Night Sorrow to avoid her today. Most, new chapter you on cue, alright. Night Sorrow nodded in agreement. This was also a fact. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, Jun Xuanji's eyes lit up. His aura was completely different from before. Send me out, I'm leaving. Jun Xuanji smiled at Night Sorrow. She had achieved her goal of coming here today. She understood Night Sorrow, and it was enough for her to ask this question. Communicating with Night Sorrow was like boiling a frog in warm water, but if she was too anxious, Night Sorrow would retaliate. After sending Jun Xuanji off, Night Sorrow breathed a sigh of relief. This matter gave him a headache, and it also involved Jun Xuanji's safety. If his Tao heart was not stable, it would be easy for big problems to arise in the future. Jun Xuanji and Mo Tianji's battle would happen sooner or later. Night Sorrow continued to cultivate. He wanted to raise his destruction attribute and spacetime attribute to the second sovereign tribulation. Then, he would go and challenge the devil-winged race. It had always been the devil-winged race who took the initiative to challenge. Night Sorrow had never taken the initiative. The reason why he did not take the initiative was because Night Sorrow valued time and did not want to delay his cultivation. However, when he reached a bottleneck and needed to break through, he would go and attack and slap their faces. This was something he would do. Night Sorrow did not fight, but the challenges from the devil-winged race did not stop. During this time, Little Bone Fire had already gained the title of the #1 Sovereign Emperor. The devil-winged race's sovereign emperors were not enough for him to kill. He had a body of merit bones that gave him tyrannical strength. In addition, he had the power of merit to support his domain. Some domains were suppressed in front of him. In addition, he cultivated Lu Qi's legacy. After every battle, Lu Qi would give Little Bone targeted guidance. It could be said that Little Bone had been improving. Tianyu also fought a lot. After all, there were many sovereign emperors. The devil-winged race could afford to lose them. As for Lin Chuan and Long Jin, Night Sorrow limited the number of times they could fight. When the devil-winged race's cultivators came out, Night Sorrow would only let them fight if he felt that it was okay. After Jun Xuanji returned to the gate of Nirvana City, he ordered the various factions of the Humanitarian League to gather some materials. There were all kinds of materials and they were very complicated. No one knew what they were used for. After giving the order, Jun Xuanji also left the gate of Nirvana City and went to Night Sorrow's residence to stay. Datura said to Zhu Jiuyun, "It's strange." Jiuyun accompanied her during this time. In the Chaos Realm, Zhu Jiuyun and Jun Xuanji had the best relationship. Zhu Jiuyun nodded and left the gate of Nirvana City. "I don't know what's going on with Xuanji. It's a special time now. Everyone should be careful." "I don't know what she said to Night Sorrow, but she came back in high spirits," Lin Piaomiao said. Datura and the others couldn't guess what was going on. There were some things that they couldn't ask. However, they vaguely knew that it had something to do with Night Sorrow. Jun Xuanji stayed in Night Sorrow's residence and didn't come out. No one knew what she was researching. Zhu Jiuyun, who stayed with her, didn't know either. However, she knew that Jun Xuanji was refining some kind of medicine. "Jiuyun, how's your clone's cultivation?" Jun Xuanji asked Zhu Jiuyun while fiddling with the bottles. "It still needs some time. I've wasted a lot of Night Sorrow's resources," Zhu Jiuyun said. Her clone had been taken over by Imo Tianji, so she had to nourish it. "Yeah. When my clone was destroyed, it was also because of Night Sorrow's materials and resources. Fortunately, my soul energy wasn't damaged, so I didn't lose much in cultivating my clone," Jun Xuanji said while fiddling with the bottles. "Mo Tianji is too inhumane. If you have the same thoughts as her, I'll cut ties with you," Zhu Jiuyun said. "No way. You're so serious?" Jun Xuanji looked at Zhu Jiuyun. "You don't have to be so serious about something I said." Zhu Jiuyun was also puzzled and asked. "This time, I'm going to do something immoral and unkind." "So, your words made me feel a little emotional," Jun Xuanji said while looking at Zhu Jiuyun. "If you can say that to me, it means that you treat me as a friend. I won't blame you. Tell me about it." "It's tiring to carry this on your own," Zhu Jiuyun poured a cup of tea for Jun Xuanji. "Then I'll tell you. If you're against it, I'll give up immediately." "I'll tell you the reason." Jun Xuanji told her about the conflict between his Dao heart and Mo Tianji's and the way to resolve it. "We all know what kind of person Night Sorrow is. He's very self-disciplined in this aspect. Although he has several wives, he's not extravagant when it comes to relationships. This matter is very difficult," Zhu Jiuyun said. Jun Xuanji told her about his conversation with Night Sorrow and emphasized his point of view. "I know that he's not easily annoyed. So, I'm refining medicine now to teach him a lesson. Once is enough to make him submit." Chapter 21:13. That's right. The medicine is extremely powerful. It can even make dragons fall in heat. Jun Xuanji's face was a little red. She was also a woman, so it was not very suitable for her to make this kind of medicine. "Xuanji, don't mess around. It's fine if it works, but if it doesn't, how embarrassing will it be? We won't be friends in the future. You have to know that he's an Emperor Tribulation cultivator and he has cultivated his body. Even dragons aren't as strong as him. You still want to drug him? Save it." Zhu Jiuyun's face was full of shock. She didn't expect Jun Xuanji to have such a plan. Look. N+X Edition U. Chapter H, Section Part 1. If it's poison, it won't work. It will be repelled by the energy in his body and he will be vigilant. But the medicine I made won't. It's the Demon Wing clan's medicine. It's colorless, tasteless, and non-toxic. It won't cause any resistance from his body. I don't believe that I can't make him fall over. Let me ask you, what do you think of this matter? If you can't let it go because of this, I'll let it go and think of another way. I like Night Sorrow, but I care about my friends. Jun Xuanji looked at Zhu Jiuyun seriously. Then let me tell you my opinion. This matter goes against Night Sorrow's subjective will. But if it works, it won't hurt you too much. After dealing with the awkwardness, the negative effects will disappear. Night Sorrow won't be able to make love with you one moment and then stab you the next. I'm worried that you won't succeed. If you fail, there will be no end to it. Zhu Jiuyun said. Then don't worry. I'll definitely succeed. I don't believe that I can't take care of him. Night Sorrow has never fallen into a trap before. This time, he will fall into my trap. I'll make him remember. Jun Xuanji waved his arm. All right then. Just pretend that I don't know about this. Sigh. Does this count as betraying Night Sorrow? Zhu Jiuyun sighed. Jiuyun, no matter what, I'm still an outstanding woman. I sent myself to his door and climbed into his bed. Do you think he's at a disadvantage? You still use the word betrayal? Jun Xuanji stretched out his hand and pinched Zhu Jiuyun's breasts. Zhu Jiuyun blushed from Jun Xuanji's pinch. He slapped Jun Xuanji's hand away and took a step back. I'm going to watch the show with trepidation. Come on. I might have a man soon. Of course, he might pull up his pants and deny it, but I don't care, Jun Xuanji said with a big smile. Zhu Jiuyun shook her head. As a bystander, she could not say anything. If Jun Xuanji had harmed Night Sorrow, she would have stopped him. Jun Xuanji's actions couldn't be considered as harming Night Sorrow. Moreover, Jun Xuanji's situation wasn't optimistic, so he had to be dealt with. Jun Xuanji continued to concoct pills. Ordinary pills were easy to concoct, but it was not easy to concoct pills that could overturn Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow was an Emperor Tribulation cultivator, and he also had the indestructible golden body. Jiuyun, I have some extra pills. I'll leave some for you. If you see someone good and you can't communicate with him, just drug him and take him, Jun Xuanji said with a smile while concocting pills. Jun Xuanji, if you're a man, you'll definitely think about your lower body. You'll definitely harm a lot of people. I'm guessing that Night Sorrow has already eradicated you. Zhu Jiuyun looked at Jun Xuanji and said speechlessly. You're thinking too much. I, Jun Xuanji, have high standards. I won't eat just anyone. After so many years, I've only taken a fancy to one. Jun Xuanji was in a good mood because Zhu Jiuyun had silently supported him. They were good sisters. All right then. Remind me when you're going to do it. I'll pray for you. Although praying is a little nonsense, it's also nonsense for you. Zhu Jiuyun said and left. She knew that this was a storm. It was different from other storms because it belonged to the chaos realm. Of course, if it wasn't handled properly, it would be chaotic. After sending Jun Xuanji off, Night Sorrow was in a dilemma for a while. He didn't know how to deal with this matter. He knew that Jun Xuanji was a good woman, and he couldn't bear to reject her. However, he didn't want to fall in love with her, so he didn't know what to do. After calming down, Night Sorrow continued to cultivate. He felt that it was better to let nature take its course. As for Mo Tianji, it wouldn't be that easy for her to escape. After all, the desolate city's defenses were very tight. Night Sorrow didn't tell anyone about this because he had to protect Jun Xuanji's face. Half a month later, Jun Xuanji finished concocting the Heaven and Earth Harmony pellet. His main body came out of seclusion and tidied himself up. After putting on a red silk dress, he greeted Zhu Jiuyun and left. He went down the Nirvana City's gate tower and walked towards Night Sorrow's area. Night Sorrow had ordered that no one within a 200-mile radius of his main body should come close. However, Jun Xuanji didn't care about that and went straight to where Night Sorrow's main body was. Night Sorrow, who was sitting cross-legged on the clear sky pagoda, stood up and said, Xuanji, you're here. You're here. You're in good shape. Jun Xuanji greeted with a smile. It's all right. I've gained some benefits. Your main body has come out of seclusion. You have to hurry and cultivate. Only when your cultivation is high enough will you be able to take the lead in the battle with Mo Tianji. I've been feeling uneasy, Night Sorrow said. I'm very happy that you care about me. Let's talk inside your spatial treasure. I'm not used to the Nirvana storm here, Jun Xuanji said. Night Sorrow nodded. He wrapped Jun Xuanji with his soul power and brought him into the clear sky pagoda. He didn't make any tea. He didn't know if Jun Xuanji would drink tea or wine. You can rest assured. I've found a solution. I'm here to celebrate with you today. Jun Xuanji took out a jar of wine and filled the wine bowl. Of course, the medicine was in the wine. It's great that you have a solution. Night Sorrow took the wine bowl and drank it all in one gulp. He then asked Jun Xuanji to continue pouring wine. After hearing that Jun Xuanji had a solution, Night Sorrow was really happy. He didn't need anyone to persuade him to drink. He started drinking by himself. Jun Xuanji wasn't bad. In fact, he was very outstanding. However, he wasn't a possessive person. He wanted the people around him to be harmonious. After finishing the bowl, Night Sorrow asked Jun Xuanji to pour more wine. I'm really happy today. Seeing Night Sorrow's eyes filled with relief, Jun Xuanji couldn't help but feel sad. He knew that Night Sorrow really cared about him. After drinking a few bowls of wine, Night Sorrow's face was a little red. Night Sorrow, if I make a small mistake, don't hate me or be angry. Women have a little personality and temper, Jun Xuanji said in a low voice. I know. I won't be angry with you. If you cause trouble, I'll help you bear it, Night Sorrow nodded with a smile. With your words, I'm relieved. Let's continue drinking. Jun Xuanji poured another bowl of wine for Night Sorrow and covered the wine jar. After 4 bowls of wine, the medicine was enough. Any more and it would be easy to cause problems. After drinking the wine, Night Sorrow rubbed his forehead. This wine is very strong. Why do I feel a little dizzy and hot? Because it's good wine. I put in a lot of effort for this wine, Jun Xuanji said with a smile. You're tuning into the Dreamy Love Stories YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.